Assalamu alaikum baɗigol ngali konton kale bismillah ko take momo be kerfato jube ka nyin temben alla de grand bantaba programme mutanale ne min kanale arjuma ni nyim wato sita mbafala mobe ko juma mubarak momo mi alon ko le ka nyim programme on noma Gambia jang anin Gambia bantala. Thank you so much alka nyim programme on noma nyamen surtout mol mi alon ko le ka jibe YouTube mbafala mole ko al subscribe na YouTube channel la nga mol tendu ke je bake mol mi alon ko le subscribe ta fa pare da ni deman subscribe donc if I subscribe na YouTube channel ola because abuketa fenna mil ba jibe kam Facebook mbafala mobi fana ye style sen kerfati al style jamal sen obe mol ma ko la bakele pour nga programme ol mil be nati ale sa nati ale a nyama woto mbafala mobe ko ala baraka baki anin arjuma kotenna dami alon ko be nga grand bantaba nati ale andon arjuma ni luntawale kana mi alon ko mol sulata ka moy ni wolle kana jam pour ka kacha wala nabi fana ni luntan do na da mi alon ko nyaato demanding alba kango moyla of course nene welcome
Boops and Boops, thank you so much my boss jërëjëf ci dalal bi
te dañ xara nuro lefen
kay xool day gisee su ma la posté sa TikTok ñu laaj ma waa Buuba xanaa Buuba lay ma leen Buuba suma rakala Buuba is my baby.
She's my girlfriend. Lol gen bëgg dégg. She's my girlfriend. Lu xew.
Yang ko def wala table mo la dem mu ne kon télé bi ji.
Télé bi ji
Dadi mo dal bo ñëwé laaj na ba né au lieu mu la té fande bi ji.
Mo la de gaay.
Waaw, té fande bi ji.
Dafa wala bi ji. Way diamo bana.
Waaw, ba naka bayo moy bande bi. Bayo mo la jox xop.
Mo dem de encaisser
mu ñëk la laaj crédit. Waaw. Dika la laaj crédit.
Bayo la ka wano ay wuli kilingo ki crédit ko la
follow.
Next time mu scam la $10,000. Anda bukaje.
No bayo du dem man ko bayo du dem. Waaye anyway amaat kontaan ak mbégte rek pour ñëwaat fii nii beneen ajuma pour waxtaana askan bi waxtaana ñi nga xam ne ñoo ñuy seetaan ajuma bu nekka saa yu nekka te da ngay gis ñoo xam ne isaan dañuy seetaanaat ñu seetaan gis dara ñu call la war a send la message nga toogaat ay fan ñu senaat la message on something else loolu wan na la ne duñ koy seetaan benn yoon yëpp nag ngeen bëgg a bi la ak cofeel gi nga xam ne moom lañ am pour ñëpp ñu fiy toog ak plateforme bi leen ni la ak du ci plateforme bi rek plateforme bi ñi koy génnee mooy kee faatu doon naa leen ne ku bëgg a xam lu óor ku bëgg a xam lu baax ku bëgg a xam lu déggu ku bëgg a fés kër faatu gaa ñëw parce que ñoo mun ñoo ëppa doole ñooy def lu fi baax bu baax bi moo tax buñ ne faatu rek da nga am pour faram-fàcce bu baax bi ñu xam ban ngay wax kon di leen jaajëfal rek ñu ñuy seetaan saa yu nekka di jégalu nag ci voice bi my voice can be sweeter than this waaye fatigue ak coono la.
It's still beautiful.
te mu ngi dem danka I'm sure by next week suñ dellusi waatee fii nii rek you know it will be a different voice and you will see the original Nene voice so di leen jaajëfal Buuba tumaar xariti xool bi tey moom dafa buloo bay tuuru
waaw te dafa amat ba NRP jëluñ la jëluñ la de
jëlaagul ma de xanaa gaa génne amal ba ma nekk
seen
standard bi yaara
tey parti leader tey mu neex ma ne ko tey mu neex di jaajëfal Diallo man Diallo Birkama la ko so ne Diallo Birkama rek xam nañ kan la benn rek la mooy Rahman ndeysaan mu doon suma broda bu baax a baax you know depuis bu ñu xamante dara ñaawu ci ñu liggéey bu rafet dugga fu nekka dox fu nekka def lu nekka wax lu nekka kon su ma nee xam naa ko te moom bu ne xam na ma rek xam na ma parce que nit ki boo leen jëflante bu dee ñaari fan la sax mu nekka ci jamono yu métti jamono yu difficult foofu nga dee mën a xamee kan mooy nit foofu nga dee mën a xamee jikko nit foofu nga dee mën a xamee nit xolam fu mu toll it ci lu nekka kon di ko jaajëfal amaat kontaante rek ne ñëw na pour join ñu fii nii because one thing I know about him his heart is up for Gambia his heart is about people his heart is about progress prosperity and development of the country so te dugaama génnaam yëpp ci yooyu nga ko dee gis yàlla xam na te ku nekk tam danga koy waxal dëggaam kon am kontaante googu noonu yëpp di nuyu suñ borom kër gi ori taalibo suutiyo mbe suutiyo fanan konton na Fatou Touré Mande Mori di ko ñaanal jàmm ju bari rek di ñaanal képp kuy liggéey kër Fatou ndeysaan dafa nekk famille boo xam ne nura watut ay liggéeykat famille la understand nga benno bokko you know jàppante xaritoo mag raka xam nga moo fi nekk mu neex loola kon di ñaan rek yal na jàmm jooju yàgg di ñaan yal na jàmm yàgg ci Gambie bi yal na jàmm yàgg ci ñun ñëpp askan bi dinañ fi waxtaanee nag yoo xam ne moom mooy lëmba réew mi moom la nit ñi bugg a dégg you know fii dara jaratu dara ñuy nuba parce que olof daf ne xam nga sàcc ñay yomb na waaye fi nga koy rendee moo jafe comme kon moo taxit li ñuy waxtaan si fu mu nekk nii ay sàcc la sàcc ñay lañ sàcc ñu dem ba bu ko koo rendi you know mu jafe leen askan bi ñu war a oote askan bi ñëw jàppale leen kon nañ leen toog rek xool waxtaan bi fu muy jëm yaakaar ne di ngeen ñu déglu ak xel bañ ñoo déglu ak xol du ne dañ xam du ne dañ mun waaye suñu ay xalaat ak suñ gis-gis la ñuy wax fii nii rek di leen jaajëfal
thank you so much so lu tax isiloo MCC protest bi ñun am nañ private conversation lu ma wax kontaanuma lu tax ñëwut
suma xariti xool bi dama xëy suba xam nga rek man dama busy you know the woman with many jobs my intention was to go but then ma am suma anti moom ma njëkk a call yaa nee nge protest bi lii ma ne xaaral yow moom yow you just blowing the air waaw déglu ma ko maa ngi yàkkamti ay yooyu noonu ma pare you understand you know my other mother call me you know wax boobu nag because nekk na koo xam ne mënuma koo bañal dara so boobu mu laal suma xol ma jooy you know ma jooy afterwards nag rek suma xariti xol bi call waaw exact mu call you know nene affaire baa ngi tànga de waaw affaire baa ngi tànga de ma ne ko MC maa ngi nii léegi tey ba pare foofu lay dem mu ne ma yii nene bul dem nene oro nene bul dem rek ma yuuxu ko MC bu ma wax loolu maa dem MC naa gis loolu ñoo def xale
thank you for revealing this I'm very happy
waaye déglu nene déglu nene walaay bul dem nene déglu ma bul dem ma ne ko MC dinañ waxaat lii tax ma ne ko téléphone bi
am naa ne fa koro mu call ma ñun ñu ngi si background bi ñun si background
ma mere ko yaa ko rek Madi ma wax Madi ndeysaan ma jooy yuuxu and everything else Madi xam nga moom dafa calm ndeysaan moom in the heat of everything else Madi is always calm you know ma jooy yuuxu non damaa dem fekk simeeku naa Madi ne ma no listen I know you should be there but you know what we need to be strategic you know we need voices outside. Everybody cannot be arrested. You know what? I just calm down. Xam nga mu try nag def delay tactics. Wow, on me def delay tactics. So by the time I pare pour dem ayoy noonu fekk already force badge bi ñëw na. Force badge bi arrest nañ leen. And then mu am pour ne okay, you know what? Don't even go on the protest ground. Just go straight to the police station. Ayoy ba pare Madi is somebody I love Madi. I had to listen, you know, I was like, okay, I just demonstrate to police station. And in hindsight, after everything else, I realized it was very important I was not on the ground and I was not arrested because, you know, I mean, there's so many fabulous people out there who can do amazing things. You know, but lately, after the vaccine, they saw, okay, you are better off doing something else than the other, which I appreciate. Why is my head bad? You hunako karo. You hunako de.
Saya mune background fan nyewal fi background. No, MC ya. MC welcome.
Jërëjëf Buuba. Foog naa ne moom ñu ngi laa welcome bu baax bi mooy first time.
Since ma ñëw waaw
liggéey America ba léegi.
Waaye yow last week
nekkoon fi kii kat yi moo ma jox kaas bi. Musa waa jëlee ko is from Colorado. Nga nu ma di prononcer Colorado lañ ma di. Kadi Barrow is in Colorado Springs. I don't know whether I pronounce it correct. Kadi, thank you so much for this cup.
Kadi fiawlo da nga wona jox ñëpp.
Naka la boy bu doon def comedy bi ne mu ngi jógee créwa mommy da jógee America.
Oh, is it how Network America?
Well, American boy.
Yes.
Mom of us right now.
I'm American now. Yeah, Kadi, thanks so much for the.
Kadi ñu ngi laa gërëm bu baax di welcome bu baax si programme bi Grand Bantaba bu nga xam ne namoon nañ ko trop. Foog naa ne nee na tam moom play na rôle bu am solo fii si sa absence lii ma laa wan ne ñun ñëpp benn famille leen ku fi nekkul rek keneen mun naa step in nee na def na liggéey bu am solo sa gannaaw bu nga xam ne programme baa ngoon dem ñëpp ñu ngi ko seetaan si loolu passé tam ñu ngi
waaye stepin boobu noonu dafa dëbb réew bi de.
waaw boobu moom boobu yëngatu na trop si
waaw
social media bi ku nekk
daa dëbb réew bi
foo dee nee na tokki toogu bi moom social media yëngatu na
suma foos de ba ma fa toogee
yëngatu na
foos épisode ba bam eeyee guddi googu noonu dëkk bi ne tigi
yëngatu na waaw
ma ne subhanallah
di nuyu tam suma broda Mr Diallo Abdourahim bu nga xam ne jàmbaar la ndaw la ku xam dëgg ak kuy wax dëgg because nit mun ngaa nekk si place nga gis ne lu mu dem jaaduwul ba tey nga noppi si doo si wax and loolu suñu société bi daf si bari trop despite yaa ngi si parti bi am nga positions wala génn wax xalaatam ba tey mu step aside nekkaatut ak gars yi si benn mbir muy siyee kon lii leen Gambie soxla ka leen ndaw yi leen soxla si réew mi nee tam wax dëgg yàlla ñu ngi gis taxawaayam soo gisee mu keroog moo kooloon ko man tam ay de boobu la amoon suñu arrêté ñëpp kenn du waxaat waaw anyway foo gis protest dafa am na mel ñu step aside
da nga waroon na ñëw ñu yóbbu la suñ la yóbbuwee nee na mun naa wax
waaw soo ñun
man
tam
loolu laa bëggoon sax xam nga moom su demoon booba
man dama nga gis fi nga disconnecté sa phone bi just for 30 minutes
man dama bëggoon MC ñëw dama doon gën a sawar gis ne MC lañ arrêté
xam nga man nun ay naka technicien leen ay technicien leen dañuy nekk si biti ñu analyse
next time ñun situation ma ñoo la
ñaanal situation maa ngaa ne ko tuggee si biir programme si guddi bi waaw soo day gis ne suñu ñëwee xam nga lu problème yi ñun ay politiciens leen so am na ñu xam ne ni ñu sophistiqué si programme bi dañ koo toon te political protest di wane people like noonu MC Cham pare man dafa am fu ma gaa day féetoo si lu ëppa dañ ne people like MC Cham ñëw na si protest so baax na comme ñu xam ne tey
loolu nga doon daw
waaw ñu xam ne tey tey kenn Omar bi kenn mënu laa wax ne Omar si ban parti la bokk parce que soo xoolee history Omar si biir protest bu mu am xanaa mu tukki wa dafa nekk waaye suñu jëlee protest ni bokk si lu ñu wax mooy comme léegi recent léegi NPP léegi toon nañ ko léegi ne ñii léegi ay politiciens la ñoo nekk seen gannaaw parce que ma ñu xam ne man maa ngi si politique bi maa ngi si political party peut-être tam ñu bëri gis nañ ne maanaam meyo xëy na maa ngi jegee talib soo mu nekk sax ñu foog ne xëy na talib moo ma nekk di pousse pour ma génn si yooyu yëpp mu ngi am so moo tax ma fii laa ne waaw baax na ma nekk si biti
nga nekk si grand
waaye ba tey maa ngi wax na def naa si audio def naa si ay binda def naa si programme def naa si télé yëpp wan ne nguur bi suñu nekk ak police yi correct
so audio no next time doo MC audio de
so wala man ko xam MC soo xoolee protest yu am kii maanaam Omar ñaata leen dem protest maanaam
protest yu am permit
protest yu am permit yàlla police laa dem
buuba li nga def neexuma
buuba
li nga wax
neexuma tey ma piin maa ngi fàttaliku ma demee State House dafa ma ñëwee nee na ma piinoon fii
soo Farafenni naka
waaw xam nga Farafenni mooy sow git am nañ programme bu nga xam ne for the first time bu ko wane na ne mayo outside KMC am na ay political base nga am na ko over 80 compagnie ay nit jigéen ñoo ko jàpp bàyyi mu nekk programme bu rëy
ok loolu ngeen lifi nan
wala demoon pour ngénte
ok
man mbooloo ma gis keroog wax dëgg yàlla dama si kontaan trop gis naa baye bi full stadium bi yëpp ngi fees tëpp ak ay nit ay mag ay ndaw so loolu sant yàlla la waaye ba tey rek di nuyu ñu seetaan programme bi yëpp ñu nekk si réew mi ak si diaspora bi di nuyu borom kër bi tam muy Fatou mu nga xam ne wax dëgg yàlla kër am na ku ma gis si social media bi mu ngi koo gërëm rek kooku dama toogaa moom ay yoon muy against Fatou waaye kër ba gis ko mu ne Fatou star la moo xool ko mu ne ko waa ji yow yaay wax ne Fatou star la parce que ñaata laa toogaa yow si programme mooy waxtaan yow nga ne ma non Fatou nii ma ne soo bëggee xam kan mooy sa waay Fatou suy xeexal nii du dee xool na yow da nga ko against o da nga ko support loolu ñëpp xam ne lu si Fatou
that's quite true
ceeb ko am problème si réew mi tey ñu jaay la doole injustice Fatou Touré na taxaw dina def live dina def interview lu waay post
even soo ko musee saaga
an kooku dafa yàgga against Fatou suma xarit la dama toogaa moom si ay waxtaan yu bari su ma waxee mbiri Fatou Touré bu code ma waaye ba gisee mu pose ne Fatou star la man tam soo ma si de ma kool ko ma ne ko léegi yaa pose lii mu ne ma waaw ba bu ñu téyee gis naa taxawaay ma ne ko li nit ki soo ko xamul rek moo tax nga baax nga maandu si su ma leen wooyee la bëgg soo bëggee xam kat mooy sa waay nee ne mu ngi nii nee ne soo amee problème da nga xuloo moom oo nga wala injustice dafa taxaw mu dem bàyyi soxlaam yëpp di wóor man maa ngi am dëj suma jabar mi ngi gaañu on Friday rama kool nee ne si biir di fi la nekk mu understand ko ma ne ko man ma am dëj de lii ak li suma jabar moo gaañu suñu kër Ibo Town mu ne ma waa xaaral ma seet naka laa la mën a yónnee wii pour nga li fi diggante bi fekk suma wéet mu ngi empty so moo laa woon ne moom mbiri nit lay taxawal an kër faa bi tam kenn tam dinañ jox gëdd bàyyi gannaaw bi ko yéen tam yéen a ngi doon kooba daanaka lu waaye bind si social media bi kër faa du aj nañ ko ama xam nga yéen xam ngeen ko waaye soo demee si fi nga xool ci boo ko xamee ne bind na any statement kër faa du weda nga nekk foo mu di nekk everything pare ñu ngi ko kooba live so loolu mooy la moo laa woon ne tey suñu amatoon kër faatu fii dañu am problème bu koy bëri tey mi ngay feeñ ñoom ñoo ko nekk di feeñal boolu moo tax lu ma dee wax rek mooy nit ki maanu dafa baax kooku tey fu mu foogoon faatu ak tey bu mu amee problème nu faatu taxawee si affaire am na gàcce de parce que bu ma ko koolee wax na ma ko mu ne ma waxoon nga ma lii ma ne ko waxoon naa la ko man du ma ànd ak kenn du ma ne su ma joxee ne su ma nee kii la xamal ne kii la du ma ne ànd ak ku nekk waaye su ma la joxee ne kii la rek kii la.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Faru is that kind of person. Thank you so much. Abdurrahim, welcome.
Buba barka bake. Content bake ka murun nan janko deke.
Correct.
Yeah, last week yang invite nan, this week yang invite nan. Be doku nyol be fanan konton na. Ka start min tamu plaso nyim fangoti wala factureti. Kana ini min katara Grand Bantaba. MC Cham na friend non na molo. Na benta dula Jamalto. Nene fanan mun na doku nyolti. Ni nene dunta dula Jamalto ka fo nyami. Na tata nung I remember ntara kabada. Na muso tara abe lebo. Ni aje o muso fam be wulo kan non dami. Ibalo be fala. Ibalo na ko nyim banko ntol be koma still. Nene ka kumbo atata o muso ka mako e fa wuluta. O muso fanan out of goodwill ay denano nyin tola nene. Amu kabada konotol off the road almost 9-10 kilometers off the road. So nene moti mi yalon ko banko la ko fengo fen wulita. Nene ka tara jel. You know, nene na tara nung abe janke wali nyola time oda abe kela nun nyanchol.
Nyanchol, yeah.
Yes. Molo mi yalon ko amanke ko abake
Nyanchol bantale say.
Yes.
Nyanchol, these were warriors.
Oh, okay.
So amantara ke kampuru fan yitando, you understand? Amantara ke kampuru ka place nyinala. Nga mbe yalon ne min ketala jang. So mbenna friend fanan konto na Umar. Ya fana mun na friend na mitta dulal to molon sababol tin na nyolong Umar diba nyol and others. So Umar fana mu funding ke mi yalon ko afana na lo you know lo nyim banko kambe yalon ne. Ay kelo ke molye minu unfortunately wol findita bi e findita ena ni sila dolla dunia bole nyama dinos kunu mol ka sulela yena ye nyini ye findi kelo ke ni bota o kelo to e dabe liyo kono rek ye boyito bari mo buka bi da majube mo ka sama fana jube so on contenta bake kam murun nan jam.
Alright, thank you so much. So kana nyin number min fale tending nali a call albe kasale sotola but momo lafta nyin Grand Bantaba sponsor lay bole call kasa kemamu loyalty so nalwa call al solo 267 0000 267 0000 267 0000 so albe kasale soto la on number do ngal dandalale janal ba fala ma fale bidum beduna programme oto wolefe of course ngamin soro ali alon de kol mi alon ko lebe keri Gambia banko kanjang jama ka wala kacha every Friday ga kol nati je pour ka kol senandi ali alon ne ko protest keta non nyin loko mi alon ko le tambita mi atina ye funding kel arrest mi alon ko e groupe fo mi alon ko ke kumandi galala ibe min kele kan wala mi nyindi ko pour ya former president ya jamela asset solo mi alon ko milia sang e ko pour yewol findindi tolu mi alon ko wallia sang ya wafi nyaadi le anin jumale ya wafi ngajele mansa kunda e listo do bonde kabri funding ke release no milalon ko ye wolle mutanu kasoto kabri ye protest ke no komando nimbe dabe kala kol kono miyalon ko ba kacala kabra keta dum akam tale ko parliament ning arabo miyalon ko le tambeta isitale pour kaje ko don ye kafolo ndi miyalon ko le be kiskisiro kala former president ya jamme ala fengol miyalon ko wole tununga koma kabra kata equatorial gene ngajele president o fana ay banko address le ning arabo miyalon ko wale tambidam bari mune be kala funding ke la next step ti wala tinanga Omar Saibo Sotojang junior mi alon ko nga Sotojang bi nabe kacala nyin ko bela te dabe no mol kono mi alon ko ye wala arrest no kabri findira no pour ka protest ke in Banjul. Omar, welcome.
Abaraka bake buba.
Ebe jelo la.
Comme ka ko be la moy lal ni jibir lal be konton na. Ba fle ko Omar manke lunta di grand Bantaba
Yes, yes, ede manke lunta.
Place le frère.
Talibo la frère. Bi talibo ko
from panelist to guest.
To guest now.
You know, be la moy lal ni jibir lal be konton na. Be konton diro follow la na sista la. Ba fly ni na baraka di be sirin selo kono be sirin duma. Mbe siri mbe stress ba ni ngandi ne kamo moy bantara nka wule ngana prendre nga jibe ko de nga fa don na ayon lady na tan
police ol jomoli ni ndulal
yeah because sometimes aussi ka fanyele ko na wul da ka fanye is never gonna come here today as well because you know they know the praise on all of that right so thank you very much sister Nene you know it has not been today my sister Nene, it has been back way you know and we have been doing a lot of things together and hanamadi yamu munti wolen kalo nyoye and mam modol wande ngane ko nene nim funding kila ko wulta akaloye bake anum bafle baraka bare kelo mang bam folo de sana darida and we will need you more and we will want you more to guide us and to be by us to and so we change things in this country MC some politician
next time I come to somebody
MC I was expecting you
ako MC
ana la monega problème comme normally ni ngata protest la MC ka active back le kan call preparation be nyaadi le cool be nyaadi le why this time ram MC moy lan demande you know message ko ma MC ka moy ma MC moy no because
adara professeur
you know but MC I think enough protest follow me along go le warta na protest be ko ngamu lead Gambia ni MC le akenu he was one of my backups at that time there was the protest against deportation you know he's one of the person that is very vocal about issues even though they're politicians I don't want to be friends with politicians all the time but you know he's a good friend and good brother we have done a lot of things together I understand and then Jallo you know and then in Jallo la Biongo started follow when I was investigating or let me say when I was fact checking CA right so you know so we started talking and all of that but he seems to be very passionate about the things he does and also very straightforward. I remember bringing a call na di am da konyo konte ka mulom bole phone le and mam mulom te kuma fule mu yalan ka manke tunya and mo be bugo keno modul bi ada time be jamin mo be blurring Ismaila Noma mo si excited no le fen fo mun diate you know but he stick by his words and then I've been following him as well so wolen hanamadi yat Gambia mun telle tadi and you know 20 years ago 30 years ago modol lebe sirim platform molte dia molke ye balambaya ke ka falendiro ke anin bintel fenti nyam problem til nebe passis ka nintel fananga problem wol nyimbule continue dingul betaro problem ki wala kon wala nan tinga ne ko ko fo molel I can have opportunities to keep quiet and get jobs but until then I will continue to fight and seek for change in the Gambia.
Alright ka call dati ngalone ko kabring ning story findira kam fa dunda mo jamal le to Gambia banko kan jang bari atol tata kafole lo nyin kafo lo fo mole aketa nyaade le
yes so kafo nyin lo da nyami wolen be ngal na mumbe kering Mustafa Swandi Dabo wolen di republic ye kibaro le bondi mun tata dending ya jamela na fulul la tanyani la wafri nyani la sanya to jang Nia Jibe is a tradition everywhere. The post-dictatorship and post-war and also whatsoever, the assets of the perpetrators are used for national healing. Wala ika mansakunda mun tambita, sakun mansakunda mu yakuriya nin tajirinte yake. Ika la naflo mu yalan ko mol ya mira ko investigator ya mira ko ni naflo ada dama fe ada ko naflo sono la wala banko la naflo a wala ka fu ma a kala naflo de ko naflo tale ye bank dingul juso nyabwala. And we'll be caring in Ukraine today. If you look at the EU settings, ibajala ko nafulu miyalan ko Russia tamu bade EU banko ka ibe jama free scan ibe jama sis scan ka Burundi Ukraine as a form of liberations. And then the same thing is happening in Syria. So the ngole expect jam fanan. And then yajibe mu neketa wala ngajana commission law, you know, in the transitional justice process ngajana commission law praying cool kiss because the wula no ngafo ni hafta no mu yajamel tadi banko le tam. Ko yaja fana mu president wonti no ay asif bakasi clean flash do mon bo dum ko al nga jane commission lo nga kis lo ke bari buwa munati na nyin ko ente fon demi wolen nyin diamo Mustafa ya tubaw ka mu yeko Mustafa ya vindicate le Mustafa ya diamo nyine sementu ya way nyin kuriya mu be finita investigative report a finita bring commission lo da mol ba falale mol ya fo ko keta ak fo be bari alo wala politician la pour mode ni del dabe mu ngoro o mu fo balilati foni dabota ci wala na promote takun tel la Gambia politician so but bring Mustafa la report findira you know, yang mol bebe sirine mol be diam la Facebook we all talk. So me sirine, you know, Mohammed Ika, na dinne woleng, right? And you know, he has been one person that I've been friend to me, and we guide each other on all of that. Atilen ko la ko boy. Nga grupo create lede. I think we need to do something.
Okay, so ikale grupo nyi
Yes,
fakore.
WhatsApp group create. WhatsApp group create. And when I WhatsApp group create, I call. We talk about it. Nga ko then create a co-group. What are a co-group of and create? Then he add few people, and then people that reach out to him because Brian is linking here Facebook. I think other people look out to him, and that was why the composition looked like how it looks like. And I'll talk about that. So first we put in strategies. And then ngamu fonu waleng monde le mita monde ularo. Brim minta wonde uraro nga kumul faydi nyoka nga tol nyini kay ko nga tola galala. Well, Gambians against looted assets.
You created it, but you came up with the name.
Yes, you know. So when I suggested the name, it sounds good to them. Then ngan tonin adopt, and we put strategies ko. Muntu wala be protest kala. You know, we had some bitter go. Alanga next week. Alanga ko. The longer we give them, the better chance.
At this discussion, any Jumale in discuss. Ite ate ani Juma.
So ntele Muhammad Mamadi Kurang Buba, you know, Bubakar Keita.
Bob Keita,
yes, Abubakar Nani C, and you know, and one person, you know, he's behind the scene. We cannot have him surface because of his job. So maybe yeah. So birim parra nga decide ko tos lembe protest kala.
Nyimbe do ave do kola Mansakunda.
No, not do kola Mansakunda, do kola privately, but the private is very close to Mansakunda, so we cannot enclose. So biri wakeda nga kachal ke nga mulbendi ko tos lemba kala. Nga WhatsApp group woli yele ko sign Wednesday nga press conference ke Thursday nga nyike bala nga permit apply because nte personally every time nga protest ke without permit I have two protests to do. I protest for the issue in hand, I protest against the Public Order Act. IG doesn't own this country, and IG cannot tell me how and where and what time I exercise my fundamental rights. So never nga permit apply nga permit apply rek alon ko ni mo lebe ka foko no mu yalon ko etel feel like we could still fraud the trade, but left to me alone I'm the permit apply because anytime one permit apply is another protest against the Public Order Act. But not have legal nga permit apply. I told them clear. So nga permit apply Tuesday nga submit. Or Tuesday from Wula remote command screening na. The rest issues come
command screening la mundole.
At the Interpol headquarters, yes. So remote command screening la eko ha the duration no sutiadale nga permit submit Tuesday and then Thursday lang permit. You have your computer. You have ink. The only thing you need to do is to say, there GALA, that doesn't need time. It doesn't need energy. There's nobody bringing a printer from the United States that we need to wait for the flight. You know? Okay, we no nyo sama wale ko ha saying fatal take no la ko ale min do nyining, ale sila do nyining, ale mansa kunda engage than protest. Nkay ko. Ay jile nyim foy bang foy because you don't have a right. Ite mang o council ka fon tele ko ha menna mansa kunda whole account engage la nyadile. So ngol se naka fu ko they don't have anything with it. It'll be del ñi nga kam question la so it'll be IG advice la mo da jentata. So ndel ben press release press conference preparation on Wednesday ala barumo yamol commande ko mole ko alna la leta kama. We all drove to ndara nga motol tantara banjulu so da je nga
at the headquarters.
Ha the headquarters mo tara je nga envelope dinna. Bre envelope dinna mayele santo. Bimbe jigandu mga envelope yele ko your permit is not approved. Ko in the history of the New Gambia, I led the highest number of protests that are not partisan. And nga permit to apply all the time. But ni IG balanta ka permit di mola aka dalilol safe dalilol mu yalan ko fay convince ba fay man convince ba nin dalila atin nako mam permit di yalla. Be kule kono security mol man sia police man sia be mul dilala wala for security reasons Allah fuka permit ke protest ke dami ma fango jeman koy but eka fenko reason o
eka reason de dalilo ha.
So ndala kaje ko jutunde yamma tambi ndel nga permit to apply IG man fenki je faka mole ko mala permit to accept without telling us the reason.
There was no reason.
But also mind you haniata no am I reason of no mole ndenga nte kundingo ya safela ko arab anakala arami salungo permit dita permit ndebe fintila so bi okere wi ntaram kontel be fintila.
Was that the reason the ale press conference kumandi wana be
ani press conference nyanda ko kinu because the media be blaka no mo no ko konte diam because until la miro we are establishing something very technical. So what I'm saying, we don't want any of our members to speak to the media, apart from the spokesperson for now, because we started something that probably people don't understand, but mass movements are very sensitive. And if you look at the social media right now, so we control our communication very tight. So the press conference we can ask our first time speaking to the media. You know, so when you come in
and you announce there with or without permit.
Because we can re-strategize. You know, people were very interested in talking to us, like Madi in communication throughout. So the Public Order Act, we need to always clear this. The Public Order Act more protest no without permit. I sabato le landi. Muyalanko wolebe tamala sarto lebe tamala ni la faka protest ke. Section 5 ni Section 6 of the Public Order Act no wolanko ni be tala protest la. Protest muyalanko ebe bola dulato ebe da dulato possession from point A to point B yanda ka panto nyinin kala because there is a tendency of obstruction, so there should be producing a security base for you to guide you. 2, to inform the environment on, for example, public disturbance. If you're using a PA system, you need to apply for permit. But if you're not doing possession, you're not using a PA system, it doesn't mean permit for sick in the first place. You can go and gather at the edge and then do your permit. So this is what happens. And we tell them we're going to protest. And we went out on Thursday. You know? Before Thursday, I was on TV with MC, and then I received a lot of calls and text messages that I need to leave. That's all. I need to leave.
Because why?
I don't know why.
For security reasons?
For security reasons, I think. But one of the security reasons was when I left iAfrica TV, for Second Johnson, there was a full pickup of a riot pickup. They don't know, yes, they don't know me. I was on Max. But I saw them. And that was the time, not text for an text. Because these people are standing here. Whether they are watching us or not, we don't know. The data. And I went to sleep in Banjo because I don't want them to block me on the day of the protest.
Okay, that is
Banjo. By 10 to 11.
half of all those people that were arrested slept in
Banjo. So Mohammed, Ghetto Pen, because some of our faces they know. They can easily, we don't predict them.
Yeah.
They can block. Because even Bob Keda, they don't come with their cars. If you have public, if you have motor, they will not expect us to be in those cars, so they sagla. So ngala Banjo. Fano kira bri wulda. Ngana makalda. So then Mohammed wulda as 6-7 to go for surveillance, like the way they also bring the armed men for surveillance. So ni benta. Ndelbe bo kang ajo don kamuru Banjul kono. Ni riot force riot pick yemol arresto pick up mona no benda be findikan nang ila police station be koma abinaga. So but ndebe menu max leto. But for Ika Mohammed, this is the first time, but there is no police that riot police that don't know me. So immediately
they know you already. Exactly. Obviously a sutele.
You know, they all even sutele, no. So that is park National Assembly because they love fly like a National Assembly. So bring a park in National Assembly to avoid them because at some point we were going to do it quick. All what we want at the beginning is the petition to be delivered. So we re-strategize. But the other thing we re-strategize do bunto. SIS member was sitting right after us.
Yeah,
but bio
fulale ngamira SIS
yes
iko fulale be serial
so fulale be serial do be serial kono fa nimbe natalo takam fang akamon ma ko natal tala. You get but you know psychology when nimbe loring bring ala body language be ngala communication mu jiba katare mo walo bala nyami nga bayo ko nyoko kana mu fanyo to nyala ni mu ena irati
Janni ba fulay
bari jarin te ba fulay bayo yala te nyum molon
ay lo ne
ako nyeka na mo fanyo nyina ko banka ako nyum yesim so dum ka ako nyum NIL so ba jarin te lo restart ya pour ngana mol be so mundi do mundi yara fa nyepi ko ko nte tonta da men piko ko pem alota but also we get intel. I don't know how true it is. I don't think the bakala fi career fi jankare we had intel that the protest Adama from protest near Dimi Bakale. Another form of person that
when you say Adama, do you mean the president?
Yes, Adama Barrow. I don't call him president. I have a consistent and persistent protest against his presidency, so I don't address him as president.
But he's still the president.
Yeah, but I can protest against him.
Okay.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
So Adama, somebody told us that Adama is very passionate and angry about the protest, and I found a IG ko nimol fin that make sure can I say. I don't know how true it is.
Okay.
That is left to for the public to investigate and all of that. But that resonates with what happened because you can come and hear senior protester.
Senior protester.
Protest normally.
I saw somebody wrote Madi. We put
Madi
Saibo, Madi 2.0.
Yes. So if the riot pickup comes in normal protests, the first thing they do is I'll come in a kijang. I'll need to start kadiam. Okay, I'll permission, I'll disperse. You do some push and pull, soft push and pull and all of that. But this time around, I'm going to be here. The officer commanding, I get That was no, I'll come in a kijang, I'll disperse. Because that's what the normal language of the police riot team is if they come to protest. But this time around, they did not do that. You understand? The Nimol Chika, I also tried to speak to them first, as spokesperson before we entered the pickup, and they did not listen. I remember Nkoeko, Albemol Ares Kamunela, the officer commanding ko, they have 3 hours. Kamul Mutajanika for living Ares Kamunela, you have 3 hours, loyal for, but you also in 1 second, it's a phone. But I'm Dangu, so we decided to enter the pickup. That was the first batch, and Dara police station. But Bubante, personally, anytime I'm stepping out of my house, kara protest la. Ngai la sayala, areso, aninsaro. Ndebe sila fiongo bela foka win kasilo taka protest against looting, against corruption, against bad leadership, against anything that is against the principles and the values of good governance, human rights, and democracy. So, personally, I was expected to be arrested.
You are expected already
of
to
course,
be arrested.
Of course.
Because you alone come like ibe kule kika mini luwa manta, right?
No. Ndenga mbe kule kika muni luwa tara. Why I'm expected to be arrested? Because mbe kule kika muya lonko mole mul karfa luwa la puya tamandi ibuka tani silola anila fako fo ika kamfale ika luwa la you sign kete dendi. This is the protest though. Sometimes language is very important. The protest within the Muna, that protest in Tovala. In my last protest before I go for studies was in 2022. Police omu yende lipa janaka lipa yala mo defon yo danga fon yo kere ya neka si dekabi. Those are languages that don't just come like that. Right? So I expect that people will be angry at me, which I don't care. What I care about is the future of this country and how my child will be born tomorrow and go to the best schools and the best hospitals and all of that. So
we'll continue from Kabrial Samba police station. But now let's look at the composition of this group. Itebijele, you were once very close to Sabali. Ikabijele, Ikamuni, na Ghetto Pen Fananjele. Well, I know Ghetto Pen and Ika, it will still very close to Sabali. Before the protest, I don't know. Now there is a suggestion on social media, someone is saying, Sabali is behind you people. Is this true?
Now, before you get to that, when you say they were close to Sabali before the protest, is this to suggest they are no more close to Sabali
I don't know,
now?
because I don't know now for now. Okay. That's why I'm asking.
Okay.
That's why I'm putting it that way.
I thought maybe you know.
Yeah.
But they are very independent-minded. And I think that is one of the reasons why I am surviving all of these little things in Come on Survive. I'm also going to be a faith politician because I was part of the people that supported Ismaila on CA and a lot of things. But you see, when it was left to go to Congress, I told Ismaila, I don't want to do partisan politics, I'm going to take the backstage. So and then in Sabali man for a long time. Because then in Sabali, respect all of Natema. And Ndela Doko Mundanatela Doko Mundi will always confess so Sifa avoid it. Unless anything against the state and the interest of the state, then in Sabali Bukadiam. The last time in Sabali, 2 days before the protest, Naiblo da Maldino Mandiam. You understand?
Did he advise you not to do it?
No, Sabali dare not advise me not to go and do a protest when I protested for him here and get him out of jail. That's going to be
he advised you not to because you don't have permit.
He said, Buba, I said this yesterday in TV that this is going to be the last time. I don't want to have issues with somebody. I think ndega mumfo mole wala hanama dingo ke fon bunya kumaya tale. Ya jere amanke femfende ka diamu bolto. Diamu dol bije akela ignorance le expose. Ni Sabali ko atela faka dale yele ka fo mole ko ni mu mam permit so manyana ka protest. Ntel fere nyindo nga permit apply le fon. The morning we were going out to get his mouthy head out of jail, man pamito fon apply yalla ñu nga apply le maso when we were going out in December 2022 to get somebody out of PIU units, we did not even seek for a permit. So morality would have demanded for somebody to sort up. I know it's difficult for him. You see, if you turn yourself, if you devalue yourself, you become a laughing stock in this society. And I describe somebody on two fronts. There are two types of relevance in this world. Globally, you have two types of relevance. You are relevant for the good reasons, and you are relevant for the bad reasons. Relevant for the bad reason is called negative relevance. Yow lo bëgg rek nit wax sa tour comme molete tofu dron. Adia da ko molete tofu sabali be caractère. Sabali fasi diam pour moli afo sabali. Adia da wo, abedia da wo, he needs to keep in there for the bad reason. I understand. But the least Sabali could have done was to speak on this protest. He could have shut up, especially telling us that we cannot protest without permit.
But at any part, command I'll advise the Kanata. No, I mean during Kabri Amutan time, he was with the opposition at the time. I'll advise the
But that is a lie. Because Delmon permit was sick in the first place.
No. He didn't say. He said that he's just asking whether after that protest that you guys went out to protest against, for him to be released. Whether after when he came out, did he have any conversation against you guys to say you guys should never have come out because you didn't seek for a permit, you don't have a permit?
He did not. Before and after.
No, he did not. For me personally, I did not. Me and Sabali, the only thing we did was go celebrate his release. And then talk about how the good job, how we save this country, and all of that. That's where we start. Me and somebody doesn't talk about.
I know
but over and over, they personally, I avoid Sabali for so many reasons, and I think I'll have to say one is because of Auntie J. Auntie J is somebody that respects me very well. I respect the woman very well. I think Sabali should do us a favor. This one more time, and shut up.
Okay, all right. So saying Gabriel Mutayal Samba police station also, right? What happened? Because no wuri jamal le moy inside the station albe wuri muna menekeda kono toje because he mantul allow ngadu.
Yes, so menekeda brimol dunda station also.
You should ask me, let me explain that
part. Brimol dunda station also.
Don't explain that there.
So brimol dunda station also.
No. I'm not
so
asking
everybody
that
was
particular
speaking
case. So.
Because didn't know le kono nung comme mol jakalital dunga some point. Because ndel dol dal tan ndel dol dal tan police wala crime bass wala. Why didn't know kono so diamo be siari mo be diam gang. So naraka for come nga domang I will speak to the police as the spokesperson. But fortunately, during the conversation started, like a lawyer coming from the courts beside the headquarters saw us, because everybody saw what was going on and came to offer a pro bono to be the first person to speak to the lawyer. So to speak to the police because we needed a lawyer. LS Camara call, LS Camara be facilitate kakana, and then that guy steps in to just speak to the police on our behalf.
That's lawyer Johnny Jai.
Yes.
Johnny Jai.
Yeah. We interviewed him after.
Yeah. So biri waketa when you diamaga, but all were agitated rather. Campaigning. People were angry, and then the police at some point were not able to handle it. So a statement was survey, and we all agreed that we're not going to write any statement. That is statement safela, right? And then they said a more charge kufulalla. First, unlawful assembly, and two, breach of peace conduct or something. So mko ko telmanta charges all from dankula fang. So mboje negotiation wasn't going fine because even if I turn and talk to the boys, they are all calm. But if I turn to talk to the police before the noise is there again. So then nene nyol binakan nang. You understand? So Mark called me, Nene called, and then we're coming, stay collected, stay calm. We are coming, but we couldn't stay calm. So
and
then the other thing is, I was the one that was calming them, but different can lose at some point. I'll be the one calming them, and all of a sudden the police will do something, and I'll turn and shout, and we all shout, I calm them down and go back. The ball call for you, but that's leadership.
I know.
We lose it sometimes. So because we are not cooperating. And then they all search, and then they start putting us in the cells.
Okay, even at the headquarters, you'll do the cell.
No, they'll be cell bring somanda, bring 11. They'll be cell 4, 5, come on, we were in the cell. and was sell from I think sell kutoleng. Yeah, the painting was very
No,
bad.
it's not a new one. I think they did some painting.
Yeah, they did
so
no,
there
they
was
are
some
renovating.
gas
Yeah,
or the
renovating,
paint.
yeah,
So
paint
the
sense and
smell
all
in
of that,
there was
understand?
very, very
For
foul.
company, we are too much in the cells.
Inside. Okay.
Yeah.
Yarol beke kill
Yang
cell
legi
kill.
embe duni sel kilo ko. Like the bring dunda dol sino or dol sino automatically. You understand? So
They
mbiye.
were tired.
So mbiye.
Yeah.
There is this police officer. Kunya Monday.
Sanyang.
Habib. So Habib came.
Commissioner.
Commissioner came out and entered the cell with us. You know, to negotiate and tell us, look, we know you do not accept the charges, but we cannot even process your bail if we cannot get your name, because the boys said that even their name they will not write it. That let's just go and then reject the charges, but we can write our name, let them just fill the charge sheet with our name and address, all of that. So that way they were able to be processed. So we agreed and we went out. Then already I think our lawyers were there. Nene was there. Honorable Ba came, ML Ba came, and then civil society was already getting in, and then the media was outside. You know, and that was before we entered. That was the time I came out, because for me, the tactic is always ikamunke wale niye mul mutarek mo be say mo be body. And
So you give a petition to...
Yes. Before I hand over the petition, the government hand over petition, I put it on both on my Facebook and then WhatsApp status that, you know, they arrest us because they want to distract us. So the rest cannot come to the police station. They were supposed to sacrifice us at that time because we were not the subject. The subject was the protest and to submit the permit. So let them leave us behind bars and go and protest and later come to negotiate. So that's why I hand over the petition so that they go back to the monument. And that's to the arch. And that's what happens. Before the petition get there, another individual regrouped.
That was the second group.
That was the second group. When the second group was picked, the third
group came.
So that was the idea for me. That was, you know, kijafara idea like what.
I know, right?
You get? So sometimes we like okay, because the moment you enter muta no mobe na police station no mobe general to me buba come protest buka impact so jim banko ka. Wala problem mo. Protest need to be re-strategized. Sometimes sacrifice one or two people to get na goals. So imagine being intel but at least we are getting to our goals.
Kabri kal fintindi at the police headquarters. Hajale dol bijele fintindi nya maneta le, you know, and ngandine jewolto, you know, she was emotional at some point.
Yeah.
For munekera ball man song katanu because I saw immortal, you know, fintindi nya me was asking, you know, alkan samba mundole. It seems like he was resisting puruya samba. Munekera far parenu yal samba.
Because yalam buba comme horomo betiata ko kono bakel. Ndel mangi criminality. Ndel mam mola ko di sunya, mam bankola ko do sunya, mam fenke, mfenti dala kan nyantol nyineka yemuta. So nada ka finga finti because most of the time I'm always in front. And then my principle is sometimes I join the group, but my principle is three things. Wherever they were taking me, is either to the Nyambai forest with an AK-47 and get me done, or take me to mile 2, or take me elsewhere. But I was prepared for anything, so I'm gonna follow them. That's why I don't know what. But the resist was good. You see, in politics of protest, resistance is a language. You understand? So the resistance was good. For me, at some point, resistance, what it does is, you see how the crowd was when the resistance comes. And that's why I have to come down from the van again to persuade that let's go. It's three things. Take us another cell, kill us, or we disappear. And we are not the first to be killed for speaking up, and we will not be forced to jail for speaking up, and we are not going to be the first to disappear for speaking up. So that was the mentality for me. But when they took us, you know, people, Ghetto Boy was still protesting. In fact, police were belete.
Oh, silo.
Yeah, because we had an experience in the car. We have Bob that was going to mile 2. So normally Bob's case, I think his first case, those were the kind of either the van or the riot car that normally takes them to mile 2. So Bob was like, motor like at mile 2. So we are going to mile 2. And some of the kids really were scared to go to mile 2.
Scared, yeah.
Because the name mile 2 is not like the name Burfoot Station.
Yeah.
You know, so Ghetto Boy said he'd rather commit suicide than go to mile 2. So we had to calm him down.
Who's Ghetto Boy?
That is Ibrahim, the guy they paid.
Yeah.
You understand?
Ibrahim Jalo.
So I don't know whether the plan was mile 2. I don't know. So what some of our backup team did was Kemo and few people drove to mile 2 and stood there so that they know if it was mile 2 we were going, because nobody know where we're going. And that's why I told the media we don't know where we're going, but we're gonna go. So Nani was ahead of us on the whole, running after the riot vehicle, and we went up to Westfield and they took us to the PIU. And now we become criminals, we become terrorists. You could see armless and harmless young people. You know, the Delta Force, you know the Delta, the PIU Delta, right? The ones that are supposed to go for war with their rifles and everything prepared like, you know, we were some terrorists, and then rifles on our heads in the vehicle. And then they took us almost across this country with convoy. I remember Mohammed Ika, you know, he's very foolish.
Yeah.
He looked at one of the officers in our van and said, I've never felt this important. You know, I was laughing so hard. You know, but that means that, you know, everybody, because everybody knew what was happening. But, you know, whilst we were there frustrated, people were standing on the streets, waving at us, and sending us love and prayers. Yeah. Right? We went to Misra. We started with Misra.
Can I interject?
Yeah,
before
you started with Brikama.
So what they did was
Banjul,
yes, they went to Banjul.
But can I interject there? You see, the commotion where it started was, right? It's true that cell was very congested, and that smell, was it gas, petrol, or the paint? But it was just unbearable. Yeah. Most of them were feeling dizzy. You know, the likes of Bob, they almost passed out. And all, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that was the first negotiation we did. That's not a good place for them right now. Yeah. Regardless of what they did, the place has to be bearable and it has to be conducive. So that complaint was just too much. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You know, you get a Bob, they've got that open cell, the bars, or whatever. And then, nyungchi. Okay, for them to write the name, they said under no circumstance would they even touch a pen. But of course, Johnny came as a lawyer and said, okay, you know what? You're not admitting to anything. You are not writing a statement. You have to choose what to do. But again, if the police arrest you, they need to know who they have in their custody. It's procedure. You understand? So when Johnny gave the advice or whatever, you know, then they understood, okay, we don't have a problem, right? That's when they had to bring them one by one for them to write. But I guess the police at some point realized that, okay, their stories or their responses, I choose to remain silent. I will not say anything in the absence of a lawyer or whatever, was too kind of consistent. So now they decided to bring some people here, take some people somewhere else. At the back, at the CIU, whatever, to the other place. So basically, just to divide them or whatever. Again, you know, one of them said, no, because they were too much. They wanted all of them to be processed within time. It was taking time and blah, blah. Whichever one, all of them now wrote their names, you know, never agreed to the charges that they, you know, put forward and all that. So they have their name, their telephone number, their age, and everything. So that information was available to them. But again, that place was becoming so chaotic. By that time, the first batch was arrested, the second batch was arrested, the third batch was arrested. They were all now in there, and they were all in the cell and all. But this complaint of the way they were feeling, you know, the dizziness, some of them wanted to vomit, like you said, some of them were sleeping, you think they had passed out. Because it was not a good, you know, place or whatever. But of course, I'm happy that they agreed, okay, it was not a conducive, they were going to move them. So now the problem here is, when they went and said they were going to move them, you should have seen even the atmosphere outside. When instruction was given that they were going to move them, that place turned into a war-torn zone. It's like reinforcement came. The people that were getting in there, all riot gears or whatever, and things like that. You know, for me, what turned me off in the first place, tell them where you were going to take them. They have a right to know, but they would not tell them. Okay, we were there on behalf of them, right? They would not also tell us. And that's where I lost it in the first place. I said, it's not possible to just match them. I had experienced that. You moved me from one place to another and not tell me where you were taking me. You know what I mean? And they also were saying, we are not going to go if you don't tell me. At least he was calmed down for a little bit, did not mind going without knowing where to go. But the other ones were to tell us where you've taken, tell us. So it was so chaotic or whatever. And, you know, when I came and just like shouted or whatever, keep quiet, I'm glad that they listen. At least no bon ñu ngi mer. But at least gis nañ ne am na ñu fi nekkal, we can trust them or we can listen to them. At least for that.
We need to listen to the backup.
We can listen at least for that time, which was good. You know, and when I was like, don't worry about it, just go. You know, wherever you go, we will find out and we will know. So at that point in time, one of them, you know, just called me to the corner and said, well, this is the instruction, this is what we're going to do, and blah, blah. But of course, that instruction, what they told us, changed somehow.
Who said that? The police?
Yeah, from the police, their command.
So
whatever they told.
I have a feeling that it changes.
It changed several times.
Yes.
It changed several times.
Yes.
I believe that it was genuine. That was what was given at that time. But then in between getting them inside the cars or whatever, everything that has happened, things change again. And down the line, it changed again. You understand?
From the top.
Wherever it's coming from.
I don't know where this stop is, but we need to cut it off.
Well, it changed several times. So basically, the reason for going to Kanifing was to get that backup.
Backup, yes.
You understand? That Delta Force.
The Delta Force, yes.
Exactly.
Jeng and his people.
Oh, Jeng, yes.
Yeah, it was to get backup. So when they got in there, before they could even get those people there, because they did not come off the vehicles. They were still in the vehicles at the time, waiting for them to put themselves together and all that. We had already jam-packed that place. Because when we came, they told us we cannot enter, we cannot see them, and all that. We agreed. Because you could see the push and pull outside there. Yeah. You know what I mean? We told everybody, stay off. So it was myself, ML Ba, Nani them or whatever, that went, greeted or whatever, and they said, okay, we cannot see them. And the guy was just like, maybe the guy had skunk or whatever, No, very impolite.
No,
before you know it,
no, the truth is,
a whole batch of them came with their riot gear and whatever, and started, hey, go for it, get a length, do it, And I was like, are you talking to animals? We're human beings. Yeah. We came with respect and dignity and asked a question. You told us, no, you cannot enter. We left. We did not push and pull. We did not fight or whatever. We left. Obviously, we saw that our people were, got in there. We left. But the way you want to treat us, we will also not allow it. You talk to us with respect. You tell us you cannot stand here, you cannot do this, and we will abide. But to say, move here, get out, or whatever, I said, everybody can accept, but I will not, or whatever. So, but afterward, you have some of them who reason, who are nice. There was one lady, very fantastic woman, in full gear with everything else, but a woman, but she was the one a little bit reasonable and prevailing and trying to tell them, just let it, I'll talk to them or whatever. And even and all that. So big guy again, you see they had to put the traffic on a standstill. They stand everywhere or whatever because the vehicles were now coming to get out. But I mean, they can be finished. Hale didn't jangle it, smart. You know what I mean? This immediately you hand the guy, then you move out. Okay, everybody was a vehicle. So basically, you want to reach out. You understand? So, nile nyekana dirite wante nyom si bindi kabi ñu dem pa.
Bengen ham biye
ñu drop, misira, ñu drop, you drop. It was. I mean, on the battle hardened highway, if people would get off their cars, the whole hell because of situation being melon. Like, the boy say to me, so that rite wante ben gis suñ moto rek ñu gëna ci palantere ñam tam.
Pour ñu walé né ñom ñoo fa nekk.
At some point we got frustrated, we got lost. But ngeen ñew fekk ñu all you know. We didn't see any of our backup vehicles anymore.
No, initially we had told each other we hide.
Yes.
But afterwards we were like Jaratut Nobu. They need to see
So I was saying some different police stations more fin the KMO wall they regroup a protester. Protesting was successful because in Aral Bulale, Masakunda listo bondile, there is a parliamentary inquiry. Ngalone president of Banco address le. What is the next move of this group now? Albe mbemune jelal because listo finditale already molbe bim foka wala bindo okay albe listo le nyinin kaka finditale already parliament ko ibe kisiro kala ko president wa diamudale so legi muna kera.
Yes, so first yalan kule ka kulu movement oning it was the idea perceived was to and so we follow the issue but first the man la fi listo bondam our demand on the list is have. The list is out, which for us as a team, we have not still said yet. We are working with a data analyst that is going to analyze the data for us. We don't just want to do any random work on the surface now. But we need a comprehensive report to accompany the list. The list is one thing, but there should be a report, a comprehensive report. A government cannot do auction and then sales and buying of these properties just on the random of like Saibo's provision shop on the streets. nee na ñëw jënd coffee dem. There should be a record of the principles of the valuation of assets and disposal of resources like this. So we are going to follow up with that. That is one. Two, President Diamotele Arabalo. What we're going to do, me munkela wala franga President la moire manta femfendin la mola man kedron kanaka diam. You see, we have me farindiro la sign. Ka fako ha ni mol mamanta President o finta diam woti yede. Abe diam la kam ala kuma kamol be kala kuma kamol mu yano ko abe rationner la ni banku dimul la faka mum moy ani mum be kering. You know the list is out. Now nim President Diamta abe difficult to track because if there was a comprehensive report, you need to understand and then compare what is in the comprehensive report and what the reflection of the presidency is. Right? So the demands will have been even meet kind of dominating and we're going to make a follow-up. But to be certain that GALA is going to be an anti-corruption movement in this country moving forward based on the demand of Gambians. Right? Tell them how we have dissolved it. But Nena can tell you how much demand Gambians have made in both home and abroad to make sure it stays. And one thing I want to make very clear, I saw debates around being political, being partisan, and all of that. You see?
But you have people who have political ambitions.
Buba, you know, there is no absolute movements in the world. Movements are different from organizations and associations. The mindset of building movements is to bring people from diverse backgrounds for a common goal. Movements are not political parties with a single ideology. It has a goal, and then this goal is built on dismantling different ideological frameworks to establish a goal. People are complaining, look, you see, nobody pay me for being an activist. I keep saying this in a joke that if I'm paid for all what I've done in this country, I would have been living in a mansion. So what an open invitation that people that wants to join. So we cannot discriminate. What we can do, and I will make it very categorically clear, that even within our group, we make it very clear that whoever wants to hijack the goal for your personal interest, you become part of the people we are going to eliminate. We don't joke with that.
Have you addressed the issue of Bob Kerr after that statement?
Of course. You see, we have internally, Buba, there's one thing. I see people a lot of time on social media attacking me, which is normal. But there's one thing about me, Buba. I will say to your face the way it is. And if you know Muhammad, Ika, you will know that because we say to your face, what Buba did was wrong. But for Buba Buba did not write that on behalf of GALA, so GALA cannot take a position on it. Let's be clear.
He was suggesting that he was arrested because of maybe in connection.
So in GALA, we as a group have stance, and we as individuals. I can also come and say I've been vocal about the government, but don't have a personal issue against me. I can say that from there. But what remains unchanged is that GALA's goal is no individual goal. Bob Keita have a personal page and can say what he said there, and I said it and I will repeat. Buba Nimbaro, I leave it to them. But GALA remains a collective movement run by a collective goal, and nobody is going to take it personal. That's why I can stop on the Buba case.
Okay. Are you happy with the parliamentary inquiry? Some said it's a delay tactic anyway.
Well, I think for us, as we speak, literally all our members are in the parliament. Let them establish and fulfill every demand. You know, normally people go to protest and make a demand, they just camouflage and stop. I'm telling you that by the end of May, GALA is going to have a national central executive and branch in all regions and constituencies and wards in this country. And in the next time they delay in the process of this, nobody will come from Bansan to come and protest in Westfield. From Khartoum to Koina, people will come out everywhere. And we're going to make sure that they can establish, we're going to follow them. The parliamentary inquiries, we're going to follow it. And we're going to make sure that they follow the procedures as much as they can, and we get to the result. We cannot delay this anymore. So let them, people can act. You know, the government, but Buba, if you understand protests in this country and you understand what happened on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Adam should be serious about the state of this country.
Okay. Nene, yow mom witness nga everything. What is your reaction as far as this protest is concerned?
First of all, man dama just sant yàlla ne rek ne I'm an activist in heart, right? Man, injustice, bugumoko. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. It's a no-no for me. You know what I mean? Like I said, MC mom duma ko wax sama sedema because duma wax lolu. Why in the course of our work, naka Jallo mu ngi talk fini. Jallo knows how passionate I am when it comes to issues. There are times where I'm a lone voice on issues and I don't move. Why daf daan dem bi nga xamne ñepp dañoo ñëwaat fekkasi ma fi. Fekkasi ma. ci li nga xam ne loolu laa taxaw dañ ma daan tooñte ne man may sëriñ bi foofu noonu you know what, that's how passionate I am and strong in my stance, my yes and my no. Now always dama dee wax ne ci dëkk bi fii am nañ partisan issues even suñ kër yi sax ndax dee gis ñoo xam ne ñoo dee bokka magaraka ñii ñoo nekk against kii ñii ñoo nekk against di nga gis doom yi ñii juboo yaay bi ñii bokkaa kii loolu fu nekk la dee xew in everything liggéeykat di nga gis ne ñii ñoo nekk cohort bi ñii ñoo nekk camp bi in political parties waaye when it comes to issues of nation nit ñi dañ dee war a bàyyi lu nekk the language should be one, the color should be red, white, blue, white, green and nothing else. You understand? The name should be Gambia, Mother Gambia. And this particular advocacy is nothing but that. And I want everybody to see it that way. Because the fight is for everybody else in Gambia, in government, everybody else outside government, everybody else in the private sector. Because what we are advocating for, it's about the Gambian issues. It's national interest. The assets that are supposed to bring about change in our hospitals, in our school system, in our roads, in the agriculture, in every sector of the government. So ñun ñëpp suñ affaire la. Li ma dey always wax loo bokk doo xaar ñu oola si. Everybody needs to make it their business. Now, the process, the procedures, the structures, and everything else, yes, need to be looked into. And obviously, it has to have credibility. The people who are also championing, their characters must be impeccable. And of course, they don't have to have ulterior motive like Milawa. Man, I can sit here and authoritatively say, I am proud. Dama kontaan parce que jëmma yi ma gis si seen waxin, si seen jëfin ak si seen xalaat. You understand? Of course, loo mën a def rek dang dee am ñoo xam ne dañoo ñëw pour become detractors. ñoo xam ne mool lañ dee nekka. And we have discovered that with several individuals down the line from the start until today. Di nga xam ne dañ leen di yóoni for one reason or the other. Or ñoom ñooy ñëw xëy na commencement bi they have good intentions but down the line they realize okay this is not for me or for one reason. And again the pressure that comes from outside, you know, that tell you bul def lii doo lii daf dee bari. Man I can't tell you the amount of pressure and the voices and the what and the people that are reaching out ku nekkaa ngee wax different thing. At the end of the day man maa am pour decide lan laa war a def ak lan laa war a jël waaye lii yëpp dem na ñëw na mënoon naa ñàkka. It could have been avoided. We should not have gotten to that. The state has put in a lot of resources in these 3 days. Right? Yes. A lot of resources, those resources could have been used into the security sector and it will add value on them. Because resources in expense need. The only thing it has averted a lot of chaos, which they have caused themselves, and then they came back to try to put that in order. So always then they am pour halat ñu use seen xel yi buñ use seen xol. Te dama also ñaan security sector bi buñ dee allow politicians outside, understand nga, who have messed up egos ñëw di leen push ñuy jël stands and positions yoo xam ne it doesn't help them waaye dafa bring about bitter taste, bad memories because dafa am luñ dundoon suñ diggante ak security bi si Gambia bi fii. Am na yeneen su ko nit ñi gisee rek am na lu mu dee indiwaat. Am na feneen bi bu ko wax diggante boobu noonu li ma gis yëpp dafa at some point in time I broke down. You understand? I broke down. Man ku ma xam gaawuma jooy. You understand? In the heat of the most difficult moment si laa di gën a am fit si laa di gën a dëgër waaye I broke down. Li xew mooy dafa am lu ñëw suma xel dafa am lu ma fàttali ko because dafa am scénario si ma gis dafa ma fàttali lu métti mu laal suma xol. And da nga gis ne that instant bi ñëw indi boy si di leen force ay yooyu noonu. A lot of people call thinking that I was arrested. You know, because of ning don def la don bañ ñu def ko because I felt that it was unwarranted. I cannot stand there, see them handle these boys in a way it was not right, it was not dignified. And that was, I was pushing and pulling with them to stop those things. You understand? Lolo waruton. Dem na ñëw na, the demand is not for the police, the demand is not to political parties, the demand is not to any particular individual. Because this work was initiated by the government. And whatever anybody does is answerable to the government at the end of the day. So this movement is holding the government accountable and asking them. It is the government to go to whoever was working on their behalf to get whatever needed to be done and come and provide it in a transparent and accountable manner. And that's what they fail to do. Buba, ñun ñëpp ci dëkk bi lañ dëkka. I can say Gambia bi yëpp mun nañ maa bañ man. Waaye maa ngi am kenn koo xam ne mu ngi biir State House a decision maker in the corridors of power bugga na ma bugga boo xam ne bugut lu ma métti bugga na ma bugga boo xam ne nu métti su waxut si kaw dina ma oo si koona ne ma lii ak lii lii ak lii man am naa ko yow am nga ko keneen ak keneen am na ko parce que Gambia lañ dëkka ñun ñëpp balaa government bi di ñëw ñu ngi doon dunda ñu ngi doon exist si njëkk ak taranga seexalante nañ taranga seexalante nañ kóolare boo xam ne dëgg la am na ñoo xam ne xamuñ kóolare xamuñ taranga dañ ñeme fàtte waaye am na ñoo xam ne dañoo fàttaliku démba te buñ la xoolee jak rek am na lu ñoo fàttaliku ba tax duñ la waxal lu ñaaw duñ la defal lu métti parce que am na foo leen jaar so loolu mu ngi fa and everything that is happening in there some of us are privy to that we know what the plans are we know what the game plan is we know everything that they wanted to do what they want to do now after everything changed and what is the way forward it's coming now so they need to put their house in order the bottom line is we're not enemies. We're not enemies to anybody else.
What did they want to do?
Buba na ko dangerous la. Buba soko bayete hell.
The plan.
Dugal.
that question come at a very.
Like a bit of time, I was like, hey, Buba. No, Buba.
No, we are very interested.
Wait, I'm gonna have to. Yo, me.
Who told you he's underrated? Buba is the most underrated journalist.
It's true. Wallahi, Buba is underrated. Because Buba is so disciplined. Buba is not confrontational. Buba dugut ay choco. Most of people underrate Buba. Why Buba is dangerous?
There is this politician kuneka outside. Kumagal different interview ko. Mane boy. Mane gis journalist yoo xam ne suñu interview ñu smile du ma leen di ñeme baral ma rek. So it's scared, but
journalist smile du ko ñeme.
No, mu ne journalist boy smile moom.
But anyway, this is the thing because léegi tamit xam nga Buba comme man ku ma xam you understand. I'm a friend to everybody. But when it comes to issues of Gambia, nobody is my friend. I don't look at anybody else. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And my truth, I don't mince it. And like I always say, I don't scratch the surface, I dive in. A lot of people don't like it in the heat of things, but later on, after cool heads prevail, they understand, okay, it's not what you saw, there is a different side of her. And later, you get privy to certain information. It's not anything you go and discuss. It's not anything you sit on platforms to say. You know what I mean? Because nit ku nekk am na loko sama, nit ku nekk am na loko setal. And that's not in my nature. You know what I mean? Why anything lo hamne, information lo hamne, it's going to be a problem for Gambia and Gambians. I will not keep it for anybody else. That's also, let's be clear about that. I'm not going to keep anything for anybody. But again, I will not go out there exposing people because they have trust and confidence and discuss certain things with me, and then I sit to talk about it. I don't take pride in those things. Man, that's not the way I seek for relevance. I'm relevant already, so I don't seek for relevance trying to expose certain things.
It's good that you know their plans. That's okay. It's good that you know their plans.
But the thing is, again, the petition is very, very clear and specific. Oh boy, Gambia is blessed with talent. Gambia is blessed with talent. Man, mingling with these young boys or whatever and things like that. Some of them, magumalensa. Maybe them age group la, or henyalimalendi magelu tuti la, or nyema se maktamit, few people la. You understand? New few la, nyema se mak. Why interacting with them, sisa si ma help suma bopa, suma ham. Sisa si ma hamne, man fima tolu, warna gena góorgóorlu.
Yeah, very intelligent.
Oh boy, the word intelligent is an understatement because they know what they're talking about. It's not Marirandor, you just know boka boka. If you look at the petition, it's very specific what is being asked because they know what they want, what they want to know. And right now, even when the list came out, the discussions, like I tell you, technicians, MC think the technician, no, go and look at the technicians that are reviewing this list. Gahamne, you are not.
Political technician.
Political technician.
The experts,
technician,
the experts who are looking at these things, Jonathan, the preliminary reports that are coming, Gahamne, this is not a joke. Yes. These are people who know what they're asking for, people that know what needs to be. And at the end of the day, the good thing is, it will be for the benefit of every Gambian. Yeah. Because again, this movement is one that is precipitating a crisis to command change. Change does not come out of convenience. People need to know that. It doesn't in any way. This Master Lam Slam, Duganafele, or whatever, and all that, it will not bring about a change. And it will bring about change, Wahamne. System change being done for the longest time. The reforms being done for the longest time. It did not happen because it will not favor a lot of people. It will be a forced change that will set precedents, and it will be there for posterity. And people need to embrace it. We are not here to witch hunt anybody. The group is not here to yahal nit or whatever. It's about Gambia. And of course, down the line, some people will be disadvantaged. That also need to be clear. Because some people will be found wanting, and the needful has to be done on those people. And that needs to happen for everybody to understand business cannot be as usual.
The end goal.
Yes.
Heads must roll.
Okay.
That's what
heads,
it is.
It's either they roll heads or we roll their heads, but heads must roll.
But
accountability, it cannot be postponed.
But this role here is not killing, right?
No.
Okay.
Police, no, we don't have guns. We don't gonna kill.
Not at all.
We're not gonna kill.
What
I just want to make it
What we're
clear.
trying to say is,
We are targets. So
what we're trying to say is,
just
for
make
us,
it clear.
let the government do few things. As if now the list is out. We are going to analyze the list. But at the end of the day, whoever is found wanting must be held accountable. And one of our key
even
demands,
they are within your group.
one of the key demands.
Oh, sure. Who cares? So you are within the group
What?
or outside.
Even
Even
they are
when they're within the group.
I just want to put you one thing. You know what launched my activism against my dad. You know my dad was governor on the Jame.
The governor.
That's how I start against him. That's how I start activism. So don't worry about who is with me or not. If you are found wanting, we're gonna get after you.
All right, that's clear.
It's that simple.
It's clear. That's clear.
But it needs to, people need to embrace it and support and empower these young people.
Yeah.
I mean, again, government they did a lot of mistakes down the line. You know what? I acknowledge with the engagements, a lot of people really saw that this was unnecessary and we could have averted this. We could have had an amicable discussion and all that. You know what I mean? Which I think is not a matter of just why in action Why at the end of the day, officials, when they're in position of authority, right? In any position, they need to be humble. They need to come down to the level of the masses.
Yes.
Finger talk no. Most of them are not even handsome anyways. Let me say that. So it's not like I just wanted to walk into your office to look at your face and smile. No. There is a reason why I come to talk to you. And if I respect you enough to see yo ya talk for funono, manyo pour engage la, be respectful enough. Return that respect. Right? I cannot force you to say something. I cannot force you to do something. But no na yo ya fa talk, so nga respect the position, nga respect sa bopa. Because hey, linga joxe lolou lañ la return. So all of them wax suñ la fayé sa bor nga mer rek, linga lepp la mo baxut. You understand? You see some of them will come back and start talking about kimo wali. Why yo linga def be koku wax lim wax or def lim def yo do ko de wax. So they need to humble themselves. And a lot of engagements were ongoing. The NYC, right? National Youth Council. They did fabulous work to see, understand that this was resolved amicably. And there were meetings that we've done. And authority was so...
He was not pleasant with what he was saying.
And he said, well, this group, they're just a movement. They're not a structured whatever. They're just a movement. But you know what? That movement got you working on a Saturday.
Exactly.
That movement got you working Friday till late. That movement got you working Sunday. But if you were too humble and reason and talk and maybe preach their conscience, you would have been resting with your family on Friday evening.
Is it Lamin Kesedi?
Oh, no. Not Lamin Kesedi. Not Lamin Kesedi. And Saturday and Sunday. You know what I mean? I mean, even I told Lamin, even Lamin, I mean, definitely everything possible to Gisne, you know, when you come to an agreement, pour avert lidon heo and all that thing. Why still, lol, waron nako muna def depuis
First day,
the first day from Monday, when these people went to the police station. If I was in that position, I call myself a representative of a youth at that Apex house, the state house. Anything that has to do with the youth, whether muneh, whether munhari. Suma ko dege, dina buka dem, maham lanla, mahol man, suma tahawai, asen representative, nakalay muna def pour gen ko refetal, nakalay muna def pour gen ko yokka, nakalay muna def pour gen ko yayal, pour ñu bari ñu bokkaci. You understand? But that was not done until Saturday. I mean, Friday and Saturday. You know what I mean? Not dismissing the efforts at all. Not dismissing it. But then again, I'm saying that so that it can be a learning tool next time. Because you know what? Protests are going to continue to happen. Even so if we amon nakalinkohate Pope Leo, Pope bu es buñ fal ni sax su fi ñewon dina am lu mo def lo xamne man duma neex yow du la neex, we should be able to come out and protest against that because definitely ñu neexul. So it's going to be an ongoing thing. So affaire bi nañ di open their mind and it's very clear and people need to understand. Saibo wax na ko fini. A lot of people are there, they're affiliated, but when it comes to national issues, everybody removes their party colors, their party symbols and come on board. Fi so fi bëgge wax ne anybody that is in a political party warta boka, then maybe 3 nit nga fa am.
Yeah, because ñu bari ñu boka ci party so
no, honestly, even if you go to Europe today, you have the citizen assemblies, right? They don't look at beyond affiliation. What they look at is a common goal. That's how movements are. You see, it's in fact in the Gambia, the movement will always turn out to organizations. Movements are supposed to be parallel. A goal. You are yellow, I am pink, but we come together, and that's what movements are run on. So I know we Gambians are very conscious about who is in this party and who is in this party. See, party politics is one thing, but politics is a whole different thing, right? And that's why also I saw the debate of whether we are partisan or non-partisan, we are political and non-political. Those are very irrelevant debates. Right? We are political. We are a political movement. We are not partisan.
Yeah, that's what Omar Malmo said.
Yeah. I saw the debate. The debate is generally very irrelevant. If you understand, like Mohammed told us yesterday, you cannot teach a political scientist what is political and what is not political, right? so we understand that. But outside, in the context of how people see what politics is, they can say we are apolitical. That is a random conversation outside. But we know what we are. But like Nene said, you know, it's an open movement for Gambians. We are not partisan. And then one thing we want to make clear, in not any part of our demand that we want to remove Barrow. We don't have business with Barrow. We leave it to politicians. Okay. We want to ensure that government is run on the principles of accountability and transparency and trustworthiness. Okay. That's also. And then if we tell Gambians what it takes to have a government that does it and they go to the polls and vote, that is their problem and then the problem of the politicians. But for us, we don't want to remove Adama. We want to ensure that there is seriousness in our government, there is effectiveness in service delivery, and accountability and transparency cannot be delayed.
MC, what is your reaction?
Jërëjëf Bouba. Foog naa dégg naa Néné ak Omar seen wax yi ñoom ñaar yëpp.
Waaw.
Lu ma bëgg a njëkkee wax mooy seen mouvement bi baax na. Kenn bañut ko, ñëpp ko support. But lu ma njëkkee bëgg a wax mooy sooy xeex dara dafa war a nekk lu nga xam ne hidden agenda dafa bari ak ñu ko ànd ñu si nekk political movement mun naa am na Sénégal am na yeneen country nga xam ne you have political movement you have a movement bu nga xam ne bokkul benn parti soo demee Sénégal Yaamar none of their members loolu mën a identify ci benn political party or benn movement and they are very outspoken during Macky Sall regime during Abdoulaye Wade regime amul kenn ku la mën a wax ne man bokk naa si political party o bokk naa APR or Pastef ñi seen mouvement bi soo ko xoolee man support naa seen génn protest because accountability kenn waru koo bañ and transparency 2016 bu ñu campagne pour génne fi jàmm ñëpp a taxaw ne yaay dafa yaaxal réew mi sàcc yi bëri na si nguuram dafa jël ay réew moom ko yow nga ñëw as président ak sa government nga taxawal ak commission ñu war a xool bagaas yi yaay jëmme boo ko def si commission bi dafa nekk si télé ñëpp di ko gis soo dem bu war a jaay léegi bagaas yi war koo jaay bagaas yi du bagaas yi yaay ji bagaas yi réew mi la bi ko da nga ko siis da nga ko fris kon mu la jox doole boobu kon réew baa ko moom Gambia problème bi dañ ko yàgg am di sa Jammeh 94 Jammeh isoon na commissions algaali commission ba tey report boobu tey kenn mënu koo gis kon train bi dafa yàgga time yi Jammeh li xappanoon na after boobu génnee gars yi dañ ko teg benn problème ba tey génnut ñu dem si yàlla ooy jàll yàgg na koo jooy fii nee na report bi na génna bëgg ñu ngi tuumal fii ana report ba tey boobu génnutoon kon lu yàgga fi la so léegi suñu ñëwee léegi yow nga isi nga commission bi xool na bagage yëpp parce que ñooñu bu ngay toogee si télé bi ñi ngi isi ay witness ñi ngay wax soo dem war koo jaay oil media bi ñu génna am na bagage yu nga xam ne sa baaxut bagage yi Jammeh yi waaye léegi foo ko mën a claimé ne baaxut bu ko boo koo jaay wane na ko askan bi
exactly because ñu ngi yoone yu bari baaxut
am na ñoo xam ne baaxut
waa ñu yëguñ
bi ko léegi mun la koo difen fen suñu waxee dëgga wala nguur moo ko woon a génne mu teg ko si stadium wala Buba zone wala Serekunda East wala Brikama football field nga teg ko fa yëpp cëpp ko xamel ne boo nga jënd bagage si Jammeh yi Moustapha sax mun naa dem jëna Buba Gajo mun naa dem jëna nee na mën na dem jëna Farsi la mën na dem jëna Kasa yi mën na dem jëna waaye bu leen dem yéen neen seen biir ngeen toog yéen ne ngeen jaay ko seen biir man sax mun naa jëna
that is very important
so loolu tey so suñu bëggee wax
turi si liste bi sa tur bi ne
waaw soo suñu waxee si waaw xam nga jënd bagage yi yaay Jammeh du crime ñu bëri understand loolu du crime de bëgg lu nga xam ne dañ koo jaay luy crime bi mooy naka lañ ko jaay ak amaan bu nga ko jaay ak ñen lañ ko jaay loolu mooy crime bi
but I have a problem with MC ñu ko jënd $20,000 moto yu sérieux waaw loolu crime la de
foofu laa wax man loolu déedéet ma ne ñu ko jënd ñu ko jaay naka lañ ko jaayee lu tax jaay ko amaan bi foofu la problème bi nekk lu tax gars yi jaay ko amaan bi $5,000 la ñu jaay moto $10,000 au nag
truck $50,000
so léegi ñu ko jaay lu tax jaay ko nii moo tax ma ne problème bi fu am mooy si gouvernement bi la am ñu doon jaay ñu isi problème bi an alaaji courant bokk na ñu design jaay bii courant moo njëkkee ici moo njëkkee design naka la war a jaayee bagage si Jammeh tracteur yi ak nag yi nii courant mooy number one moo njëkkee jaay Salifou Diallo bu ñu la wax nii courant jaay na ko war naa mën a Gambie si Salifou Diallo bii kan la ba tey mu ngi binda di gaari wala di def nga xam ne nekkut xam nga nit ki da nga war a gëm sa bopp man dama gëm ne moo tax ma respect this boy dafa voice out name dafa oo tur mënul laa gëm su looy wax soo ko gëmee da nga oo ay tur.
so courant lu mu nekk di wax is 43 tractors la jaay.
léegi
it was open
waaw open despite léegi Mamadou Sabally ak nu ma xam ne du ma d'accord moom si bari bon am na point yu mu wax keroog Coffee Time dama ko nangu si loolu because courant moo njëkkee jaay naka la jaayee amaan bi da di nga ko war a xam.
waaw loolu la nekk di waal mu ne it was 43 tractors 10.5 million la ko jaay but it was open mu ne am nañu ko call sa si ron di ko wax ne jaay mu ne ko ne da ngay ñëw comme noo ko waxee.
waaw soo xoolee kon am na lu tax query soo xam ne kon am na ko si commission bi ay query nu ñu jaayee bagage yi I have a document with me.
Oh really?
waaw I can even share document with you share naa ko de nee from the chairperson of the commission. da si query nu ñu jaayee bagage yi tracteur yi di laaj ko fi ñu jaay awel kon jaay na leen saa naka gay noonu Xaadim Gay kon jaay na leen Salifou Diallo boo leen bind di ko laaj liste bi Diallo wu kan la moo ko njëkkee jaay moom moo décidé naka la war a jaayee soo kon kooku tey moo nekk di si position boo xam ne moo war a taxaw wan ne lii kii ak kii Salifou Diallo lii ak lii leen ko jaay lii ak lii leen jaay moo tax ma ne lii dafa war a leer ñu képp boo xam ne yaa ngi si réew mi na nga war a moo tax ma ne na nga war a man dama gëm nit ko xam ne looy wax da nga koy gëm da ngaa taxaw nga ne Buba Gajugo moo def lii ak lii ak lii lu la si mun a fekka nga xam ne lii moo la si fekka fekk yaa nga am sa documents moo tax ma respect Ousmane Sonko in Sénégal bu mu nekkee opposition dafa taxaw ma ne Mame Mbaye Ndiaye jël na lii ak lii Mansour Faye def na lii ak lii ak lii mu oo their names call their names nga dem court nga taxaw nga is sa evidence ne wala ñu wala fu mu ti yóbbu bon soo nekkee di bit about the bush yaa ngi lu ne man askan bi yaa nga yàq der loolu naa fexe passé wul loolu lu ko bon lu bon passé wul loolu bon police yi ñu dem ñëwaat si mbiri si affaire protest bi police yi ñoom ñoo def mystère bu nga xam ne ñoo ak nguur bi yow ku xam ne mu ne dafa bëgg a protest mu bind mu apply permit kooku daf la yëgal ku bëgg a yaaxal du la yëgal pare this public order act bi lii moo tax xeex lii moo tax Barrow tey nekk président moo tax su la sax ne génn ñu rey ko si suma parti la looy daa ba génn ñu jubaleen jël ñu toroñ dóoru leen because this public order act bi la noonu xeex ne dafa war a génn si réew mi mu tax ba président Barrow tey nekk président tey di seen public order act boobu la président Barrow di jëlaat ak police am yi di police ay nit ñu xam ne ñoo taxawoon di campagne pour gis ne Jammeh is out suñu apply fa ñii su lañ joxoon ñu match from si aaj bi ba si Minister of Justice benn 1 hour 2 hours
Buba la sade.
Non, non,
Buba. One of system be is a common sense. Even in academia, right? Survey, research, precedents that they use to make informed decisions. I told the Interpol unit, let's count the number of protests where permit was given and the number of protests where permit was given and look at the chaos and then which one is peaceful and what is not peaceful. All the protests where permit were granted are peaceful.
Yeah, all of them. Yes.
Then meaning, instead of the police, instead of the people or the protesters, the police is the threat to national security by denying people permit and bringing riot gears on them. So that's the issue. Like, there is nothing wrong with giving permit. Give a permit, provide security. We march from the art to the ministry. Give our
Omar, pare yéen loolu la ñu protest sax dafa njëriñu police la.
Ak state house sax.
because tey moto yi nga xamante ñu ngi ko jaay koragul moto police yi ñoo gën a soxla moto yi mën nañu ko jox police yi gis nga bagage yi yaay Jammeh suñ ko jaayoon si yoon tey Gambia 5 years suñu budget bi loolu rek mun na amee suñu budget di réew mi.
loolu tey 1 billion.
loolu rek mun na ko amee comme tey police yi lu gaa di nekk di jooy affaire yi moto mobilité yi gaa di jooy ni yëpp bagage yi yaay Jammeh mën na koo fixe kon lu gaa di protest ñëpp la gaa di ñëpp si bokk ñëpp suñu njëriñ la. te ko xam ne apply na yéen lu gën a am solo mooy jox leen ko man nanguwuma sax ñu nga apply to the police permit musuma koo d'accord man lu ma nangu mooy da nga inform police bi loolu laa d'accord dama d'accord ne police da nga ko inform ne ko ne ma bëgg a protest police yi isil la ay police pour ñu protect la because am na ko xam ne tey xëy na mu ngi against protest bi mun naa génne jam la xeer mun naa génne mu attaque la so police da war a ñëw ñu protect leen loolu laa gëm tey soo xoolee resource bu police yi use nee na wax na ko fi xoolal lu gars yi sonné si 3 yooyu lu gars yi use si resource coow bu am nga xool publicité bu baax publicité bu am na si réew mi ak outside the country VOD wax ne report nañ ko Sénégal monsieur Wey ñu ngi ko bina man benn yoon Sénégal call na ma sax
about this
protest bi di ma jël interview pour ma wax expliqué ko ñu ngi gis ne Gambie mu ngi am protest pour ma wax si seen rajo seen télé bi ñu dugal ma wax ma expliqué la gars yi lu xew si réew mi soo doo wax ne Yaya Jammeh sàcckat la ngeen jël àllam bi ngeen jël ko ngeen pàccoo ko gis nga ma ne dama ko wax fii ñëpp suñ bëggee am correct accountability and transparency suñ ko bëggee am lu mu mën a def mooy il faut ñu mobiliser suñu bopp waxtaan ak Gambians si ñu vote out this government this present government mënul laa wan full list of naka lañ jaayee bagage yi ak naka lañ ko jaayee du mën a am il faut nga am groupe S ko amee dafa pare pour ñu wane accountability and transparency bon loo mun di def noise def cooy ñoom ñooy génne kii teg lan nga mën a def loo si mën a def waaye da nga am groupe S buy ñëw lu gaa nëbboon muy génnaat lu xew Sénégal exemple la Sénégal all ñu gaa di arrest ñi tëj ñi yëpp ci prison Sénégal bi yëpp government officier Macky Sall yëpp report bi nga xam ne dañ ko yàggal diggaat
waaw ko do ñoom am na bagage yuñ jaay government bi am na yoo xam ne commission bi ñoo ko jaay am na yoo xam ne Alpha Capital
waaw Alpha Capital government ñoo ko appoint because commission members yi président Barrow moo leen appoint the secretary of the commission is appointed by the president Alhaji Kuran direct président la moo ko appoint moom mooy supervise jaay yëpp ñu doon jaayee bagage yi moom moo ko mu liggéeyam la bu ñu génnee Alaaji Kurang kan mooy ñëw naka permanent secretary of naka minister justice moo ñu jël place am so it's from the government so ku munti wax loo munti wax mooy government nga war a wax bu ko président Barrow lañ jox liggéey mu war a appoint ministre war a daaxam ministre so su appoint ba tembe tey lu munti xew tey Barrow nga fu ñu Barrow ko mën a génne si loolu bu ko ba tembe Barrow daaxu ko ba dafa resign from si liggéeyam président Barrow war ngaa watoo laaj baa ne ko committee wala set up nii that was a ministry committee land boo ko nen fa yeneen ministre boo ko nen fa from the government ñu doon jaayee bagage si jàmme yi soo réer Moustapha reporter mu laawoon ministre yi fa nekk so kon ministre yooyu war na mën a ñu xool naka lañ jaayee bagage yi ak fan lañ ko jaayee and loolu su bëggee war a leer il faut ñu am groupe bu es bu leen kenn na suñ fogee ne mun neen def préso wala ne laa gënal kii tegal la ko waaye soo bëggee am ba si biir naka lañ jaayee kër yi yaa jame amutoon nag ak tracteur jàmme amoon na ak diamond ana or yi ana bagage yi jàmme outside this country amutoon bagage only Gambia fii rek pare man d'accord ma ne yaay jee mënut a am benn kër ak noo ko mën a bañ ak noo ko mën a bëgg il faut nga nangu ko lu ne nit ki tam mënut a serve government 2 years nga ne yaay jee mënut a am benn kër tey doom su ñëwoon tey Gambia du am fu mu dëkka dafa mel ne train boobu mooy continuer Barrow su liggéeyee dafa mel ne moom benn kër du ko am an président Barrow ngay xoolal reserve land bu nga xam ne tey ñu ngi ko reserve pour ministre of justice naka ci justice bi tey mu ngi ko sampa dafa mel ne ko moom tam lu mu liggéey fii yëpp for 10 years yëpp su mu jógee tam du am benn kër du ko am nit ki war a bàyyi xel loolu mun la wax ne kii saaf na dëkk bi ak na ko mun di bañ lu mu di def si réew mi wala mun la wax ne lu mu liggéey yëpp da nga ko def even Yaya Jammeh yaayam sax dañ fis account am xaalis boobu anamu fan la dugga yaayam Assimi Bojang account dañ ko fris benn imam la ko bëggoon a may fii ñu ne ko xaalis bi du génn si banque bi ana xaalis bu fa la dugga loolu yëpp nekkul ñu koo wax kon nekkul ne only bagage yu bëri tey dafa war a leer.
bon bagage yu bëri liste bi moom
soo xoolee néem si nga xam ne ñoom la gaa di wax. ñu leen jaay ñu si réew mi fii am na ko xam ne boo ko def si seen portage bi fii si ñii.
koo xam ne jënd na.
déedéet koo xam ne moom bokk moo njëkkee jaay bi muy Alaaji Kurang man dama oo tur man du ma dem moom sax taxaw dama oo man fu ma wax dama oo ay tur lu ma si góobee ma gar ko man loolu laa góom si nit.
Kurang wax na lay see open tender so moom.
open tender wala léegi na wax léegi Salifou Diallo ba nga xam ne yow yaa ngi ko bind di ko laajte kii mu ngi ko laajte keneen mu ngi ko laajte kan la. koo xam ne ca ca
bari ñu ne Salifou Diallo is a close associate to Amat Bah I don't know.
waaw léegi na expliqué loolu moom moo ko jaay. so dama gëm ne lu nga xam ne ñu ngi koo def groupe soo koy fam movement ñi seen presso groupe amul képp ko xam ne yaa ngi si réew mi.
Salif or Seydou.
Seydou something like that.
Seydou is Seydou Diallo.
Seydou Diallo seen presso groupe bi seen movement bi man dama ko support dafa am time dafa doon jot ñu am movement su nga xam ne benn politique du si bokk tey soo taxawee ñu ne gars yi UDP ñoo si nekk wala gars yi NPP ñoo si nekk. dañ am political interest comme right now lu happen léegi NPP léegi ñu ngi ko twist ñu ngi ko toon si angle boobu ne Kurang ak Bob Keita dañ am political interest.
yow Bob statement bi noo ko gisee.
nangu ma kool naa ko. am na xam ne doo ko wax si kaw suma xarit la. wax naa ko ma ne ko man d'accord ma si loo def nii. bi ko tax ma gëm ne boo génnee gi demal Gambie nga em fa. sa diggante président bi whatever loolu sa diggante président bi.
c'est private conversation.
waaw loolu yéen seen biir la peut-être xoolal fan la egga léegi ba léegi goro bokk na si sax bu nga xam ne waru faa egga wala itam doomi anam nit la mu ngay dara pare dem mu ngay dara nga mistake temps ma ko def tam mu ngi meroon doomi an nit la nit dara day mer waaye soo toogee waxee da nga lu ma def waru ma koo def mu génn bi naan na mu apologize.
yeah apologize na.
ne ñu ko kontaan wax am
kan moo apologize.
boobu yéen.
kañ la def loolu.
si élection foog naa
si élection.
So he doesn't. I don't think he apologized.
He did not apologize.
No,
li ma gis mooy bi goro bi génnee statement.
I repeat, I'm speaking on behalf of
No,
Saibo, not Gala, right?
Actually, he stood by his word.
No, he said he apologized. The timing is wrong, but he's right in what we said. I think for me, we need to leave this business to Bob and let him deal with it.
It's your member anyway.
No, so that's one thing, Abuba. I would repeat that each of our members, we told them you have an individual voice, and then we have a voice as Gala. Unless we send Bob to a media house and say go and speak on behalf of Gala, whatever he said outside is him, not Gala.
Okay.
non peut-être man lu ma wax mooy. even président Barrow soo déggee ne xam nga réew soo koy amee gis nga wax ngeen ko fi laa mi ngi koy séeri lii moo la woon ne yaa ngi ko jox youth advisory président wala amul connexion ak youth si
yes
keroog mu demee si protest sax ba youth doo gis benn youth bu ñëw si moom sax li nga ko wan ne youth président bi youth advisor ñëw na parce que moom dafa war a am connexion with the young people bu mu ngi déggee ne ñun Omar di nga war a def organize protest moom moo def arrangement meeting sax with the press with the head of states mais boy bu leen def protest léegi maa def léegi xanaa ma def ngeen toog à président ngeen engage di président waxtaan ak président wala ngeen engage ministre of justice ma def arrangement boobu waxtaan ak ñoom ba gis naa léegi mu ngi defante ak seen benn boy sax mu ngi defante moom Facebook
laa mi ngi seede
ku xees ki booy bu xees boobu xam nga aka xam nga
Immortal.
ok Aliou Ba
mu ngi atta mu ngi ñoom ñaar gis naa sax mu ngi defante mu ne ko léegi xam neen angu boobu mu ko demee ay politicien ngeen gis naa
laa mi ngi seede seen
advice wax loolu
MC
maanaam mu ko siin sot seen ko suma phone bi
MC fii laa toog ak Lamin Kesedi, right? Sincerely, there are people in this country I will never respond to. You see, Domi Adama, hell more than you. Those people think that personal interest is what runs the country. Hey, you never on fee in 2017 and we got Kesedi to go to the parliament. I was not even in that challenging consequence. Kesedi have been in civil society. Kesedi have done all of this job. If Kesedi thinks today that NPP and Barrow is more important than all of the young people in this country, he's fooling themselves or himself. That's the honest truth. So what Kesedi says have little or no impact because Kesedi as presidential advisor is not even relevant and important than Saibo or Mohammed or Ika in this country. Like the modern Westfield, a youth presidential advisor, how many young people listen to him? You see, every day they have opportunities to learn, but they will not learn. Do you know why? Because they are not buying fuel, at least they are entering status and coming out.
There
are people there. I will say one thing. When I used to be young, I once told my younger brother, I said, look, your father is governor. He went fighting people on town and New York police because Papa was governor. I was very mad. I was in high school, very little. I'm not going to, in the next 20 years, somebody else's father will be governor. Today, our father is not governor. So, need palace, you serve the interest of the people. Regarding the election, more than 2016. When the coalition win, they were mocking. I stood with pride because I was in governor and I did not take pride of it. Plus, the Faje. Why in this country, we'll continue to live.
No, come from our way. Come Lamin Kesedi, you as a youth advisor to the president. Though I'm not going to if it's a political appointment, whatever. What Bana nga do the engage with the youths.
You get closer to them.
Get close to them. So whole Lisa bala mu hew bala de gana chow amna. Ne reach out to them. Ne boga na Omar ñi xam na ñep. Ndu ca de wala ne mané man li la bëgg pour mu lifin naka pour ñi waxtaan na ñu am dialogue. Mom bala ñi di géla mom sa war na dem wax police ne jox leen ngay permit. Man I will part of the protest. Su nekk ñoom lu gaay bëgg mu ngi leer.
waaw.
Comme su nekk ñoom ñu ngi auto transparent ak seen government. Lamin Kesedi war naa bokk si protest bi sax ana ñoom match. Ne waa man leen ko yu ñëw génn. Parce que xam nga lu ma ne ñi seen protest bi. Abuwa lu ma ne ñi seen protest xam nga lu ma si ne. Ñun dañ yaaga wax ne nguur bi amul transparent accountability. Tey soo xoolee tey ñan ñoo génn tey. Ñan ñoo génn di protest. ñu si oppa yëpp nekkul si opposition bi ay sympathisant ruling party bi rek ñu gën a protest ñu si oppa yëpp bàyyi soo ko nga mun a wan ne kii is an UDP officially bon ñu génne yëpp Omar kenn xamul fu mu bokk wala am ñu si génne yëpp nga xool ñu bëri ñu si génne tey nguur lañ gën a soo xoolee seen comment si Facebook gi sax they are more on support of the government kon loolu moo tax man ci seen protest bi dafa ma nee ñoom gëm leen lu ñu yàggaa wax noonu ñu ne ñun nekkul doomi réew mi baax ay opposition leen ñi nga bëgg a yàq réew mi di wax ne réew mi baax amul transparence amul accountability ñoom ñu gën a dëgëral suñu wax bi kon si seen protest bi tey lu leer la bon kenn ku nekk am nga solidarité mun ngaa génn gis naa dokk saabal di wax ne waaw moom comme moom lu yàgga ju baaraam police yi mu ngi ko won su kaw ne ku fi Roy Malo si génnee Esambay génne dinañ leen arrest yóbbu leen jéem. handcuff leen. kenn rek moo mën a yóbbu even mile two ñii gaa ragal nii mile two koo rek moo la mën a yóbbu mile two police amul doole jël la sànni la mile two amul kon du nga téye gaa yi yóbbu gaa yi tout noonu sax mënu yóbbu police mu doy yóbbu nit mile two police mën a jël mu yóbbu la court mu am power ne kii dañ ko war a remind to di
mais gars dañoo ragal because due process du dee lifin
kon ñu Gambie leen wax lu xewoon time yi jaay war a xewaat moo tax ma ne ñun Gambie lu am mooy système change amut régime change amut lu am mooy Yaya Jammeh moo fi génna lu fi xew yëpp tey ñun ñu koo gis
MC waaw saa wala mu ne sa parti bi seetu leen si de ci jaay bi
xam nga su waxee su parti bi seetu si man xam ba dama ne UDP su nekkoon ne seetuñ si affaire bi kon coow bi du egga fi génn ko bu yàgg su nekkoon benn doomi UDP o kilifa UDP tey jëlee na si bagage yi o nu ko jaayee bokk na si kon nguuri Adama Barrow génn nañ kayit bu yàgga du effet ni nga wax nañ génne kayit yi na leer bon ñun lu gaa yow mooy commission bi ñu ko set kan moo ko app kan moo ko select Barrow la commission si yëpp from président bi la président bi moo taana moom mooy
no MC I will disagree with you.
Okay, no problem.
I will disagree with you.
foo bëggoon naa interject foofu noonu sax pour wax ne
waaw ñëwal
Adama moo nekk président bi.
waaw
te always responsibility.
Waaw.
si wala fu moom la war a nekk Adama la président.
He's very consistent about the
Wow.
Adama.
And
Sometimes I watch him thinking.
No, ala ko mu ne ba ñëw.
I understand that.
No,
Sometimes I pay
wow.
attention.
I look at
He's gonna make a mistake and say.
exactly mun na politique mun ko wala. Politico ñanta tamala ni toñal la. Gis na dëgg mu dee yóbbu réew mi. In 2017 2018. Adama moo nekk président. But gis nga the surrounding of the president is very important and we cannot move it out. Yow tey foo nekk nii. There are certain things Talib si ko defee sax tur du mën a génn fa. Because people see you how close you are to Talib. Te Eric su ñoo waa Talib lii la def ak lii la def dañoo waa us naka la MC Cham kan la woon de ndax def na ndax defuloo. And dafa nekk unfair suñu buggee teg yépp si Talib. The same thing happened here. When the Janneh Commission was set up, we know nekkut Adama rek moo fa nekk. That cabinet have a hand in this, and whoever is part of that cabinet cannot be excused. You waxante dëgg. Everybody in that cabinet have a hand and a take in this, because ñoo establish cabinet bi, and every decision is not entirely Adama decision. Is what cabinet decision that we are supposed to establish. A Janneh Commission and appointments we are not entirely Adam, because Adam is not even no politics at that time. It was cabinet recommendations. Te gisen them fee when red flags came up, it wasn't Adam that was defending some of the appointments. It was other politicians who think today accountability is a must, but accountability was downplayed when they were part of the system. If you downplay accountability, if you're part of the system, you become a victim of corruption if the system is kicked out. So you have a hand.
Man dama léegi pere nga waaw léegi déglu ma rek déglu ma rek non dama am ku leeral foofu.
waaw
su waxee ne commission bi amul kenn ku daaw seen liggéey. their work was correct.
No, that's not true.
Their work was correct.
MC, that was not true.
Because tey. commission def na liggéeyam.
MC, that's not true.
def na liggéeyam. te report to the president. fan la Gambia di complain mooy. naka leen jaayee bagage.
MC.
and ñoom jaayee bagage.
MC
is the government commission xamul lu jaayee bagage.
MC understand these issues. Den la fiit pour nga ñëw wàlli fii.
ma ne.
The commission have issues, serious issues.
la gaayam.
Yo.
ban issue la gaayam just me one issue.
Déglu ma léegi.
ban issue la gaayam.
Déglu ma. One.
ban issue la gaayam.
One. The lead counsel of the commission was red flagged that he has conflict of interest and
what?
evidence were out. He was Jammeh lawyers in property sharing in this country. That's one. Déglu ma.
ban Jammeh lawyers la. just ban Jammeh lawyers la.
No, xaaral ma
non ban Jammeh lawyers la gaayam. da ngay si evidence lead counsel was Jammeh lawyers for evidence.
dama dee disappoint in you young people.
waaw
non wax kat dëgg.
non yow léegi nga fi jógee di woy soo waxee ne ban red flag moo am yow Alhaji Kura was missing you guys and he was telling me lie because amul any facts.
soo paree nga wax
understand but there was no red flag ne lead counsel was Jammeh loyalties bon wii la and so lu ma wax mooy the Janneh commission was seen liggéey was correct and it was handed over to the government report bi government ñu gën a white people.
Are you aware that the sales of the property started with Janneh commission?
waaw mu answer loolu ma answer la ko. They wrote to the government. There was a time.
Yes or no?
Allow ma rek.
so léegi al ñoo la mooy abataay pare
xamul waral loolu. bagasi Yaya Jammeh nagi den ko doon sàcca understand nga bagasi yaa ngi tasaaroo bu ko time mu ñu ñëwee in es ki powa Barrow dafa waate in Sénégal dara stade wu si dëkk bi bagasi Jammeh yi kenn xamul fan la jógee yëpp ngi tasaaroo woon so gars yi bilatu di court give access ne gars yi war nañu mën a jaay bagasi Yaya Jammeh yi and it was naka design how to naka ni ko war a jaay by seen member.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
No, don't ask me question. Don't ask me question.
No. Okay, let me.
Ablaye pare mbire
kon moo joxe order ne bagage yi dañ ko war a jaay nag dañ ko war a jaay ak tracteur yi nii ak nii is court order la and loolu minister of justice moo ñii Dakar di jaay commission bi dañ binda xam nga ñoom day always attaque lead council amul dara si loolu di commissioners mooy jaay commission leen waa waaye dana see jaay commission day always am bersu la so dama ne jaay commission chairman bi mooy doxal commission bi and the chairman is appointed by the president whether it's the cabinet decision whatever but the president have the final say TRRC am na ko xam ne recommendé nañ ko si TRRC bi but the government dem bañ ne noonu du ko jël si commission si I have the information but dama la woon ne tey su nekkee ne commission bi joxe nañ wan nañ ne bagage Yaya Jammeh because ruine si nañu ñëw ne am bagage ñu ngi koo jaay nag yi ñu ngi koo jaay nii ak nii ñu joxe ordre ne waa dañ ko war a jaay so bu ñu ko jaayee Alaaji Koran moo décidé ñu ko war a jaayee kon moo joxe ordre bu ñu jaay ko nekku ne ñoom leen bira ne dañ war a dañ joxe recommendation du government ne joxe information court order la
okay all right
court order la understand nga dama la court order la man I was not feed by anyone man xëy na Omar suma ndóo la understand nga man I work with Omar Fada in GDC understand nga Papi Omar man maa ko candidate in GDC dama la ne man I respect Omar waaye su ne man dañ ma fiit man kenn ma fiit maa wax man dama leen fiit mi ba ku ma xam man dama constitution maa def
léegi aramu tentu rek
man dama constitution maa def kenn du ma liit kenn du ma lu ma xam ne man lu ma wax dafa am fu ma ko teg lu óor nañ and I have the documents the court order ak naka la ko bi joxee ni pour ñu jaay bagage Yaya Jammeh I have the document mi mu ne la ko say all of you guys it's from the court
if I say Cham don't understand issues dafa nekk di yuhu man there is a process what I'm saying whether it's court order or not who started the sales of the properties is a commission that is established so whether is a court order or a non-court order I don't get into the merits what I'm trying to say is yayin yuhu but the sales of the properties started with the Journey Commission a lot of young people ñu war a come Bayo is UDP right but today even without calling UDP out directly, Bayo muy what Degabi, the stand with whatever the case may be, state resources were involved, and his stand is clear. Whoever is involved, let the health roll. Do not go individually. Well, this is not people like you, how many people look up to. So you book it definitely.
No. You say what? You get too sour. No. You get too sour. Man, small party. Snake, I'm going to boka. Man, you got money. You guy. Money. When go male. No, it's not you brought me here before this interview started. Because now I'm holding you man. This concert guy said names in it. You brought me here. I'm not going to filiagli. Man, what was all I do? No. All I name is party. UDP. I'm not boka. Don't send us from the UDP or name.
There's a name part. And there's a general part.
So the names so man I believe. Man, I'm going to MC. UDP. I'm going to
wow. Legend.
So I mean, all the names. If you are freedom fighter, come fighter. Hey, kan nga si da ngay injustice yow la wara o ay name taw nga ne UDP ki bokk na si all my names
all right so I will get back to you
all my names
Abdurrahim bu ne metela reaction
but you always you fabricate
no I'll get back to
I'm trying to make it stable
MC thank you I'll get back to you
quickly bala nga dem MC did I hear you saying nga ne gomulo movement bi
Mom la wax ne yeen gum mo
mom
okay about the bush okay no
that shows your inconsistency because 1 hour ago that shows me more than any other party that shows your inconsistency I'm an individual.
Let's
I'm very happy to call out their names. So what if they now how many? Ma condemn them. Now how you am justice you get the organization. Call out their names.
Okay, Abuba barka ba.
Movement na all names.
Yes. Kacha mi bekering concern ning kacha nyimbe tenten na teng. Maybe lamwela nin jubelal, you know, jama bal beje te kontan na
I understand,
ba
yeah.
fala imaje fondinkel ni sita wato wati rek e ka matenne
Ani programme ka kirene sonko
sonko ka kele ya andela point mu mintinu nyim protest fa amanya na futarun like nene am na futanu afutata level o minto and you know this is an eye opener to the government you know this will teach them a lesson in the near future you know because ni banjul jube ajoto mol min fintita nun je they are not even up to 10 Umar Long you know Kurang Cakes you know you name them they were not even up
very
to 10
few,
very few you know we were expecting the police to come you know ye tare feje ye ñu bula yela banal wulindi media le na ye interview wo ko la yete la petition o submit fente kelanu bari imagine situation tata to the extent that they have to bow down and I saw when the PIU the day they were released PIU boso nata for Westfield yaje youth sol minute be Westfield biri boso sandwich mansa se semboso to nyawonya molle semboso to mansati you know and when you talk about reforms you're talking about reforms across all sectors and when you security sector is the key jam police all buka lesson tran ni di amute ni di dunta wati they tell you orders from the top ite you are a police officer for instance I even wrote that on my Facebook page that you are a police officer posted in YBK Yorobelikunda ite number 1 you don't have a graduate allowance number 2 you don't have a retention allowance you know teachers who are posted to the same community are paid graduate retention responsibility all sort of allowance ite you are seated there hani boss transport from ikete didok wala salary ite ka molu minu mal handle sama wolle bita sila commission la ni meke ku yete prosecute because e kanyin delta nene mention this delta force alpha was this is the system that will graduate to a jungula unit ya jamela fenko starta tenne they were a patrol team you understand the patrol team was trained to go and patrol from patrol team they call them the rangers from the rangers they graduated as junglers and what did they end up doing
murdering. You already listened to Michael Sankoria's testimony when he said we were told to go and train in the jungle as junglers so because of the training in the jungle we are called junglers they don't even know why they were
exactly because you know a security who does not have a proper training is a potential killer irrespective of which unit you belong to that's the hard fact near police all manya jube some of them are even trigger happy some of them in fact are happy that when 2 or 3 people are out on the street. When you look at modern police, when protesters are out, nga protestol jele dunia kono, police ol katari feje. For as long as the protest did not obstruct transportation, movement of people, properties, you understand it? Amanya na futala nunjang. Kamol muta sa afele, they have set a very bad precedent. Wala nela diamula balbe derine. And then alone no molbe jailer in the system right now. Fengo fenketa. It will they are the first people to roast to Peter Gomez, coffee time.
Like your former boss.
Nte Ismaila manken na boss.
He was a former boss.
Ismaila manken na boss. In politics there is no boss or apprentice.
No, he was a party leader, is your boss.
We elected him. And in fact we did not even elect him. Ismaila went unopposed. There was no voting when we went to Congress in Brikama. He was afraid of the one that was going to contest against him. And he decided creating situation. Mala fikata woto. Kana Ismaila ko samananja na programo bitala bana wala.
No, it is so you said
no. But Nindo they could not defend it. You understand? There was no Congress.
But make like MC name names. You name names.
No. MC leti nyimu umarete nte mu jallol. Momo ni la way of saying things.
Right.
Yeah, amanya na futala nu world. You know, police all they should learn lessons. Today you have professional police, but the disadvantage is, the saddest thing is, those who are highly trained are not in position of orders. Ikanyin ke baringo leta ye recycle 10 times, ye put je still. There are police mini alonko they are in that top orders, birin jawara la time they are in the system. They are still there.
Yeah.
I know few who are still there who were serving during Jawara's time. These are the ones you keep recycling. There are young police officers. Some of them have double masters. When you go to the military, for instance, we have read the press release of the military in response to ESA and whatsoever. You understand? If you look at the military, you have brilliant young military officers in this country. In fact, they have even been valedictorians at the university. University, the young should be given the opportunity to change the status quo in this country. That's the hard fact.
That's right.
Until we are not here to be lobbying for positions. But also, mote mo nene no la nyim banko kanja MCA fole Yahya Jammeh deserve to own a land in this country. The president who is there currently, President Barrow, abota dolal habuluta manka mankundal. Ani ajibe manka mun I can also roje as a bunyangol loje from his money ala allowance or whatsoever. He deserved that. Manyan na kamfala nyoka to the extent that ngafu fana nimbuba botaje as the president fengo fenga atamu minti jambabe busilabulu. It's not like that. We have seen dictators who went to exile and later came back to their countries. You understand? So, but the government in like protest handle nyaming and munem fana, jam people have to be honest. Like being argue can jam. Wala to maintain consistency among the young people in this country. That's the question mark.
Yes.
Ntol wolen tol batandi. Funding ke jamal bi jeni ajem bebe hawjiring. Bi ninte nada janga slippers o dunja. Nga modol jube min yaron ko they are in the system. They are in government, they are in GRA, driving vehicle, which I am very proud of. Life is step by step. Nintol lafta to change the current system. For more step by step follow. Nga londo mi yalon ka kila paper londo damati. Ani wisdom bunyani hormobet ani tonya betarraje. But jam funding ki mi yan ko jam. When I read Bob coming ketenting, politically it has a geopolitical threat to even national security in the Gambia by even going to the extent of mentioning a sitting prime minister.
Yes.
Who cares about your personal discussion with the president? When you went to attend NPP's Congress, Bob more from a disappointment. People were every day going to the High Court sympathizing with Bob. Nene nyol everywhere. Nene followed. Nobody have any issue with Bob. But along the way when Bob, yaron Gambia not for ambole nyama. Sometimes we give relevance to certain individuals. We should not even listen to them, to even make them a subject of discussion in our national platforms. They are no more relevant. Wole fango wafile. Sama wolte kila jamfenti. Mansa kilimbu katara mansa alafo dunia ebang. Mansa lebenun kere mini alon ko mobutu nyol. These are one of the most wealthiest and powerful leaders ever. But fintita water. It a fintita. Whatever happened, the best time you can make a decision is the time that you are very relaxed, not the time that you are angry. Bob Manke didn't know it. Who is interested? We have seen Bob attended NPP Congress. We have seen him after that court case issue, dining and whining with the same system that sent him to mile 2. Bob ko kaja. Nte sabali ente normale. Kante samba UDP. Sabali malon konte mollebe UDP mini alon konte ni wole bunyani hormo soto sama nite lungolunte decide kata UDP ni wole be mbulo mutala ngata je ngam fango announce. For instance, if I want to go to UDP as a party, I know my text to my jamal biale wala nibe decision otala, take an independent decision, don't be carried away. So nyine bije nyim banko there is hope. Munan nanko there is hope. Now we have young people in this country who are very conscious and consistent. They are doing what they are doing not for any gains. You understand? But along this system will be changed. Sama Mansa Mimbinala, the next president that is coming, have a lot of work to do. And that is the responsibility of the political parties that are in place at the moment. We need politicians and parliamentarians. They are level-headed. Imagine what is going on right now. They all accept responsibility in the parliament. You understand? That they are remorseful. This was supposed to be done by them. We elected them to hold the government accountable, which they failed to do. They've all bought lands, built,
they have enriched themselves.
Yeah, because next time, look at that lady, for instance, the lady from Berefet.
Oh yeah, Amikoli.
You understand what I'm saying? Amikoli. It is person Gambia is engaging. You are writing, deleting. I don't blame.
It's taking our time. So join NPP.
No. The issue is it was by mistake. It was by mistake.
Why would he go by election? Why should she go?
You cannot cross as an independent. You cannot
cross carpet.
Independent cannot cross carpet.
Independent and participate no cross carpet.
Participate, sir. So cross carpet.
Cross carpet. Was a person expelled.
But
I think that was removed.
No.
It's the nomination. Like if you are nominated by the president,
No, even not nominated. Even when your party.
Wait. It was
No, Buba, it's true, because Muneketa, you don't lose your seat. Like the one from Combo is.
You will not lose your case, but you just become an independent.
No, nga lose. Law bi dafa ne. Si nekkee da nga nekk si comme par exemple. ma nekkoon léegi on a UDP MP. UDP MP.
waaw soo cross capé
léegi su ma resigné damaa dem bàyyi élection. su ma cross capé damaa dem bàyyi élection. su ma daaxee suma parti. ba tey damaa remain as independent.
Okay, su la daaxee.
Waaw. ba tey damaa remain.
Now what happened to the case of So
lifin so dañ ko daaxa he was expelled.
But he cross capé first. He cross capé mooy So.
I think you guys are
So the Combo is.
law is not existing anymore.
So mooy the UDP MP for Combo East. Abdou Sow
moo resign.
No,
he resigned from UDP.
Wow.
But did he officially join
Announced
NPP?
officially announced ne.
Man gisuma loolu.
So none of them will officially do that.
Like
They will still join and then join them.
So announced. So being the clerk of the assembly ne.
Yes.
Yow léegi you are no more with naka UDP léegi yaa ngi nekk NPP. Clerk bi jël ko automatically dañu announce IEC nga dem by election.
But this is just.
But of course, nobody wants to go by election. Because most of them, you go to by election, you lose your seat.
So these are the laws.
Even the Sabasanjal,
Yes.
Sabasanjal MP is 100% NPP. Ma ko interview dafa wax ne su ma mënoon join NPP tey dama ko doon announce. But he cannot do it.
Wednesday, they don't saga protesters. The protesters are mass.
So local
So Buba, yes,
Why
that mean for
ko Sabasanjal ban parti lam nekk?
independent.
Independent like why
NPP
you know anga
Independent
mom.
NPP la su announce ne dem na NPP rek automatically.
Yeah.
But dafa
Yeah, so
agenda
Buba,
bi,
you know,
agenda
we
bi.
have a lot of work to do. You understand? And security for na nyane hakilol tula. You understand? Citizenal manke la NMLT. We love the work that they are doing. We are proud of some of them. You understand? Ni be tarta nyoka UTG. We have seen how professional, how level-headed. Ni tata police yella min jaynyol sort of for the contanyol, you name them. You understand? They are
Very,
there.
very
You
professional.
understand?
Lamin
Almami
Jaya.
Jamenyol Bejele. You name them. Young police officers.
Yeah.
You know, police
Almami
from
who?
No.
Almami who?
Almami na moldi.
Almami Juma, be specific.
Almami Jamela.
James
No, Almami Manga, sorry.
Oh Lord.
No professionalism.
Yes, Momo nela opinion. Bantala Montega like back.
I know
So, but
of,
police soul,
Konta and others,
police soul,
very
they have
professional.
even questions to answer.
Manga
When
is
it comes to when it comes to the Faraba incident, for instance, you see where you have a professionally trained police, they will never shoot or use live bullets on protesters. Hanatra wole muruba lemuta. You understand? You should be able to disarm them. That is what you are trained for. That means you have exercised high level of professionalism. This is what we expected them to do with these people. You understand? Rather than, ke muta ko siseringol ke fai penkol kono, and you take pride of that. Ibe jeng fola wala be onto wo bete labanna. At the end, some of them, these orders will land them into serious problem.
No, you know what we need to start doing?
You know?
Taking individual officers to court. And then the police will throw them behind the bus and they will struggle in the legal...
Yeah, so
battle.
what
And then- and then they will get there.
Jube, for instance, look at the case of Yankuba Toure, for instance. Atele,
Exactly.
Yeah.
out of little ignorance, you are now brought and sat, you are now parked at mile 2. When people are there who committed more crime, serious crime, than it is. So what an hakil to along. More ebe position o minto, imu mingo minti, imu karandirati, wala imu security, imu doctorati, whatever you are with the incumbent, tomorrow you will be out of the system. In fact, these are politically appointees, you understand, whose positions are always shaky. Wala na Jamabal Beje, they always rose to be defending the president. You understand? And you come out as a minister to allege that UDP Hani Baro Tisota, yes, UDP Hani Baro Tisota, they are out there saying that is not the issue. One of the responsibility of political parties is to be putting the government into account because they are the next government. And that's what we expect from all the politicians. So, you know,
thank you so much, Saibo. Taimu Bantale, Mune Milar.
Taimu Bantale.
You are almost 3 hours. You are almost 3 hours.
I want to...
Hold on. Balanga actually close. Balanga close. Just like I've ignored and chose not to even talk about it because I, in my GALA's voice, the Bob Keita issue is absolute nonsense, and I did not even wanted people to dignify it and give the relevance that was, aside from the timing, you know what I mean. Hamga kude mone hafenal, you know what I mean. Kude mone hafenal because munga wax ci koku nonu te kenn du mëna jog ne li ak li. Waye kuy dunda sooy wax ci moom da ngaa bàyyi xel ñun ñëpp dañ dee faate ñun ñëpp dañ dee mistake in so many ways one way waaye tamit bàyyi xel daf dee baax man one thing dama ko dee wax nit ki boo amoon encounter ak moom tey rek si encounter boobu noonu war nga cee am lu neex mun nga cee am lu naxari waaye at the end of the day am na loo ci war a jàngee pour sa next encounter ak borom te liñ dee wax kóllëre lu nit war a am la lu nit war a bàyyi xel la you understand and man ñu bari ci dëkk bi fii nii du ne naka lañ ko xatee dama leen rus or whatever waaye dama toll foo xam ne dama leen ragal ngir gis liñ def gis luñ wax moo tax dama leen ragal you understand and su ma la ragalee dama la dee sori dama la dee oytu boobu doon na koo xam ne xam naa ko te fooguma ne kenn dina laajte loolu suma diggantee moom before problème am boobu affiliation am ak Yankuba mi doon goroom xam naa ko Yankuba laa gën a xam gën koo miin daan Bob I'm not even gonna get into li Bob wax or whatever waaye dama xam li fa nekkoon balaa Bob génna te xam naa li fa nekkoon ba Bob génnee dama ko ñaawlu ba pare man individual man dama ci am gàcce dama rus aside from ne the office I'm not talking about the individual that is the president but the office boo xam ne la ñun ñëpp dañ ko war a hold to the highest regard and respect parce que office boo xam ne la kenn du ko occupy till eternity danga faa ñëw nga génn keneen ñëw so if I demean the office if I disrespect the office ëllëg si biiru man mun naa faa nekka and people are going to treat me the same way I'm not talking about the individual you know what I mean now again that individual that occupies the office am na nu war a behave to uphold the dignity and respect of that office right man duma wax a Buuba in confidence as a journalist or whatever ba pare ma génna I don't see man ku dignify loolu noonu then I question you as an individual could dignify that action, could support, I question you as an individual. They can have their personal problem, which I am au fait to, which I know, but it's problem between two people. But the office requires, so then I'm conversation, you understand? We can fake out, my few people know au fait one. Be Bob, they were a president on the telephone. Yankuba was there, other people were there. I will not say who and who is there, because again, that's not my place to say it. And Bob, no what a The conversation was not private. Yes, the president bidi wax understand nga, you know, everybody heard it. Li Bob di wax ñefa nekkon dégg nañ ko. And Bob explained it loolu noonu verbatim also there was some element. Man li wax loolu moom may carry the consequences, deal with it. But we need to think about the office again. People are going to come, people are going to go. How we treat the occupants of that office right now, also we need to be consistent. I'm a fan advocate of consistency in whatever we do. Nit ki li nga def danga koo ñeme, li nga wax danga koo ñeme. Man munuma jotee Buuba tey ma génn wax li ma seexoo a Buuba yëpp man ak yow suñ text messages bari na yaana am na yoo xam ne yow ba ma ko wax bugguloo ma wax ko man li ma la wax am na yoo xam ne bugguma nga wax ko mun naa ñàkk a nekk secret sa mun naa ñàkk a nekk nëbbu waaye it is not your place for you to go out and put it out there because su ma ko bëggoon dinaa ko wax ku ma xam-xam ne man du ma yónni nit li ma wax du ma yónni kenn parce que li may bañ mooy di nga wàññi di nga yokka man dama ko waxal suma boppa dama ko defaral suma boppa so complicated boo xam ne lim ëmba ak moo ega I cannot say it I cannot determine it but it is utterly wrong and it is man pour man is despicable that it brings a matter of trust as well you understand man su dee boobu dëgga li moo wax moom feel na ne confident because génnaan na wax ne moom li moo wax dëgga la understand nga you had mentioned ne it is on record you have it on record it's gonna come in your book come can now cause na this chaos can you release the recording so that people can now come and support you ne dega president bi moo wax li nga wax ne moo ko wax in the absence of that I am cautioning people to be careful of how they take that information to be ne president bi ko wax ndax waxut ko at the end of the day ndax moo ko wax ndax waxut ko it was a private conversation and I want Bob to come out and also and state categorically clear and chronologically all encounters him and ak president bi that was on the phone but on the several encounters, in-person encounters, and the president. Can he come out and also tell people that? Since you want to talk about private things, come out and put that on the media so people can hold you serious. But why would you pick and choose what you put out there and what you don't put out there? Man, I call that dishonesty. And to be honest, man, dama ko ragal fu mu nekk nii. parce que lu bari dafa jaar suma diggante moom Bob jógee na suma kër several times am appointment put them state house I'm au fait and privy to the things that has happened I will not be the one to say it because it's not my place but su nekkee ne yow that much confidential information right moom ngaa génne di ko wax in the public information man dama ko ragal I will not be surprised if Bob comes out and say nee na moom wax lii nee na moom wax lii nee na moo def lii nee na moo def lii but you know what I don't have a problem if that happens because everything I have told him I can sit in Serekunda Market and say it everything else I have made him do or not do I can sit in Serekunda Market and do it but dama ko ragal and everybody should be cautious because these are things yoo xam ne we cannot condone it we cannot support it we cannot amplify such we need to be careful our engagements with people it is undone at every level it is undone.
Okay.
Buba.
All right.
Buba foofu rek. gis nga loolu suñu problème la ñun Gambians. du boobu rek ñun suñu problème ñun Gambians yëpp looy defaa nit looy waxaa nit ba soo leen amee problème nga génne ko.
waaye dañ ko dee use as a tool.
because man gis naa Alaaji Kono ak Tek Sané.
I know right.
gis naa boobu.
I know.
yow yaa ma waxoon ne ma ne Halifa danga koo bàyyi dem ànd ak Essa.
I saw that comment.
gis nga ko dem ba Tek Sané sax ba kii de ma Njaay so problème boobu ne dañ doon di ko am suñu society moo tax ma ne ma ragal kan lay waxal ak kan lay communiquer nal.
Yes, it's difficult now.
because koo waxal il nga am problème Omar rek mu génne waaw MC wala MC génne Omar nii ak so yooyu kenn waru la óolu parce que man wax naa ko ngeen naa ko wax naa ko ne ko ne yii da nga koo tegee boo man dama gëm ne yow loo waxal nit nu métti am na lu xam ne neexoon na seen diggante bu mu neexee ñaar yi dafa nekkoon whatever am ko right dem fu la ne nga bokka but mu ne war a bàyyi and loolu even di président Barrow si deuxième problème wala amoon tam
waaw moom si political la de
taxaw si raali so problème boobu yëpp si kaw la jógee kon dama ne ko feebar bu nga xam ne dafa am muy nekk si réew mi loolu mooy dëgg wow MC Barrow goes after people but Barrow doesn't release private dealings between mom and individuals. No, dafa taxaw.
I mean, is that's what he does?
Yëpp benn la dafa taxaw si rajo. Du benn.
When Barrow stands there because of xëy na mu ngi am a beef ak Mustafa opponent am la because these are political things which I am not saying is correct. You understand? I'm not saying it's correct. He does that a lot. While lima wax mooy soo ko bëggee equate ndax Barrow daf day am private conversation with Nene boo xam ne mbooloo mi fekkee wuñ ko mu ñëw taxaw on a political rally ne Nene moom wax lii ak lii and involve other people. Dafa def loolu I haven't seen it. I'm not saying it did not happen. I haven't seen it.
yow def follow yu bari si mbiri affaire Barrow.
xam nga
dama def na ay ñaata yoon def na ko ñaata yoon la ko Barrow def fii ñaata yoon ay nit la ko def lu leer la wax nii
comme mu ñëw di wax seen conversation ak nit ñi
taxaw kii wax na ma li lu bari na fi
but even Essa Faal mu ne téye na boobu Essa Faal bi mu ne ko ne and you know you dafa contest that was a private thing
so yu bari am na yu bari
mu ne lan expliqué na loolu ba
non mu ne
lii feebar nga xam ne la du kenn nit la
the president said that. He said when Essa visited him, Essa mu ngi doon wax West Coast dafa téye boppam bi
comme xalal nii téye boppam bi nii.
So mu xam ne dafa contest so when is a private thing.
Okay, if it happens again, like that's why I'm on record to say I am saying it did not happen. Why gisuma ko but if it happens, it's wrong. So now to validate your point, understand nga, which means ne is a fundamental problem boo xam ne understand nga, it has to be from a top bottom approach la moo nekk because xam nga lan la ñu ngi paralyze suñ society bi the young ones to think ne it is okay, it's normal to do such. You know what I mean? Man dama believe ne we are at the point boo xam ne that noble place, the house, the presidency, the #1 Marina Parade, you understand, has really been dragged to pit bottom low. The relevance, the importance, the respect, the honor, the dignity that comes with that house, you know what I mean? It has just been sanitized and it has been compromised and it's not supposed to be. But dem na ñëw na li ma dee wax rek bokkuma ci moo gën du man kenn MC man dama puukaroo lu rafet booba def ko ma ñëw toppandoor booba ma def ko waaye lu ñaaw na ko àdduna bi yëpp def man my pride is ne dinañ ne diw ak diw def nañ ko waaye nee na Frida Gomez bokku ci man loolu lay puukaroo it doesn't matter na ko président bi def na ko naka lañ ko doon waxatee political parties si def waaye boobu ndaw la boo xam ne mu ngi yottu jotangut mu ngi ut amangut dafa commencé dem eggangut am na yoo xam ne waru koo def because lii ni ko nit ñi validate man am not a supporter of President Barrow but dëgg bi dinaa ko wax you understand I'm an activist boo xam ne my activism is not about party, it's not about color, it's not about gender, it's not about race, it's about human being, right? It's about human being, and that's why I am talking, because lay def tey ëllëg dinañ la ko def moo tax I say it is wrong. Comme toolu understand nga lam def waru ko def dafa ñaaw.
All right. Yes, so it was Sarah Lamunela. You can respond to all of them, like if you want to respond.
No, I excuse myself from talking about Bob. I repeat, I leave it to Adam and Bob. They can deal with it. It's personal.
It's private.
And you know what? Don't be surprised if you see them dallying and partying again. It happened. People have said worse than what Bob has done or whatever. But hello. That's what you said. That's what you said beginning. When you say what's the word? People that just keep on defending and blah blah and whatever, saying good praise singing, damage control agents. Yeah. Exactly. So it's a norm.
Gambia banku dingol letadi. Na petiata abedan na tinyata atinyata telle. Coming ka kuma ka for them political ka mansa kunda londi. Bari political buka mansa kunda tamandi no because political messy atale. Ning molya finti da yela balam bayal ñining di itandi adenta protest la adenta diamola comme mol ñandaka e fansum hajul personal interest in ñandaka excuse them. You see, generally since this issue started Ndela interest be in walling accountability and transparency. I don't care who is part of it and who is not. Everybody that is part of it must be held accountable. But you see also, he made mention that political parties are very fundamental in the consolidation of democracy. In fact, they are number one, if not close to being number one, with civil society and all of that. And one of the role of political parties willing to hold government accountable, and also their systems should resonate with governance because they are government in waiting. And you see, these are allegations out there, and we can disagree on them, we can all disagree on them. We can agree and disagree on them. But the fact of the matter is, the issue of the assets is very interconnected. But you see, fact check center day. I have not been here for 2 years. But when anything happen, even the time Hali then they fact check the makore yeksa. Sineke sinko de Facebook then they want Omar Saibo fact check na Dr. Cisse. Because I'm head. Right?
Just
exactly.
Just like Kirfat.
Just like Kirfat.
Just
like KMC,
Yes.
Talib.
Yeah.
The same thing with Barrow. Nangunane, everything we are dealing with, Barrow was the head of the government and then head of cabinet, he has the upper hand.
The box stop at his table.
But the 2017, 2018 cabinet is where this problem starts. Come MC Nungowahe. If we have individual names mentioned, accountability is a must, right? But we don't just have to also defend because we are one of them. We have to defend the truth. And there's a whole lot of problem with our politicians in this country. People are consistent because it's not affecting them. People are not consistent because it's one of them, they only one of, you see, we have seen a lot of that here. Take key, they for key, they for definitely because the person join your team, he's a hero. We have seen that here. So loolu leen war a bàyyi xel especially ñun ndaw yi xam ne nit yi dañu dee déglu nu munta bon wax dëgga dafa war.
man bala Omar wax na fi lot of things nga xam ne du ma nangu mu dem like that man dama gëm ne di comme wax na fi mbiri appointment of Bah Tambadou despite nekkee ne nit moo ko hand pick but who have the final say pour approve as a minister is the president. Mooy go over the CV mu xool ne kii war naa nekk sama ministre. parce que gis nañ mooy go over CV bi mu xam ne kii war naa nekk sama ministre of justice.
CV.
The president have the power. Amul kenn kuy nekk si cabinet ministre without Barrow appointed la.
No, we accept.
Tey su génnee si président bi tey lu ñu wax mooy Barrow moo jokki place bi.
Exactly, we agree.
So kan tey lawyer daa ba taxaw na mu ne man appointed ma Bantaba fekk na Bantaba ak Barrow ni ngeen waxtaan. After ko Barrow wax ne ko man kii laa bëgg a def Minister of Justice. Ba lawyer daa moo wax lu si gémmiñam through interview mu am.
Yeah.
Tey soo xoolee the commission Bantaba have the right as Minister of Justice to appoint the lead counsel. Commission is not about the lead counsel, it's about the commissioners. Giant commission.
Why? That's my problem with you. Why are you emphasizing on the lead counsel?
You have lead counsel?
No, they didn't.
Yen sen fight yep. Yen sen fight yep. Yen do musa wado daga you ne jane you have fine. The appointment of lead naka
that was not an example. That was not an example.
You have lead counsel.
MC.
And lead counsel so head guy. Lead counsel am way. Witness no investigate witness we like corrections.
MC, that's what I'm saying. I gave that as an example. Why is your emphasis on that?
So it's an example.
Because you are fit to come here with that mindset. You see, this is what MC, you haven't boy. You haven't boy. But I'm there are certain issues you talk about. You don't even understand them. You don't haven't them. If you have understanding of issues, no.
You're just a sympathizer.
No. He about the movement.
Okay, legi.
So no man, you go close to move. Are you referring to the movement or you referring to him?
He spoke part of the movement.
So they don't why did
dafa joxe Bantaba joxe lead counsel example. Loolu la ko ma ne ko lead counsel ñu wax noonu Bantaba moo appoint lead counsel.
No, what I have a simple question. MC, I have a simple question. I gave example as appointment. Now, what is your take in emphasizing on the lead counsel? That's my problem. MC, you need to slow down. Agenda can bring that up. Agenda can.
The lead counsel was appointed or nominated by the Minister of Justice. Bantaba.
I'm not doing this with you.
Time over Bantale, Saibo, please. I just beg you to stop it there. Thank you so much. Nge tendu ke jay baake priye najang kana Grand Bantaba again. Ni mankela sinya follow na raja as a panelist na raja as just be tendu la ke jay baake ka opportunity bindi molla proka futana njang nge tendu ke jay baake wala nga mol fanan tendu ke jay baake mol mi alon ko lebe nyim programme wala moy kan no Gambia Bantala ani Gambia banko kan jamba fala la barka baake al tenten donc nyim programme wala moy wala ka nyim programme noma be mbafala mobe ko isi kasa call nole. Well, I'm trying to no proga number nyim bonde so al si kasa call no I'm mala number one. So Momo after Grand Bantaba sponsor la is in your number call no that is I don't know your number the other. No, this is Kerfado's office number. Kabara abe kasa bula alba desorola 267 0000 267 0000 267 0000. So nalbe your number call la Momo after Grand Bantaba sponsor I'll see kasa call do your number I'll na kacha 267 0000. I'll start send mole back if an milba jibe kan through na Facebook page oro I'll start send mole milba jibe kan YouTube I'll subscribe na YouTube channel ola ni ala kidita ala arjuma nala lambe murana ale koteke on the Grand Bantaba ngalbe tindukal je back Charles Elvis Ngom Mustafa Camara Fatsila ngamira ni Lamin Jalo ito le mura camera to ani masingol to fo arjuma nala bye bye.